The Yankees come into this game having gone 87-74 during the regular season, and if they go on to win the world title, only one team with a worse record actually won the World Series. That was the 1987 Twins. 85-77 was the mark there. A couple of other stats that might be of interest. The team with the worst regular season record has won 5 of the 6 series played in the 2000 postseason, and the only exception was when St. Louis beat Atlanta in the National League Division Series, and they had identical regular season records, which just goes to show you that with baseball, you can't really look at a track record like you could in horse racing. Now, even in horse racing, the track record always doesn't play to form, but in baseball, it hardly ever plays to form. I mean, just look. The Mariners won more games than the Yankees. The A's won more games than the Yankees. The Yankees knocked them both off. And the Mets won 94 games in the regular season, 7 more than the Yankees. And the Yankees are now poised to try to knock off the Mets. So that's what makes this such a great game. It's a full house here at Shea Stadium. All 5 of the World Series games have been sold out. And if there's a Game 6 or a Game 7 at Yankee Stadium, those games have been sold out for a couple of weeks as well. Now, if the Yankees lose this game, tomorrow is an off day, and that means that they'll work out at the stadium or possibly bring some people there for interviews. And then Game 6 would be Clemens against Hampton at Yankee Stadium with an 8:35 start on Saturday night. And that would be pretty incredible. Really pretty incredible, especially with what happened in Game 2 between Clemens and Piazza, and then what happened in July when Clemens beat Piazza. And I think everybody involved, except for the people that run Major League Baseball and the people that own Fox, would like to see this get over now. The writers would like to get home. The Yankees would like to celebrate. And Yankee fans would like to take a deep breath and go, okay, we didn't get embarrassed by the Mets. But the Mets are trying to avoid a championship being celebrated by the visiting team on the Shea Stadium turf. There it is. Those are all the storylines, and now it's time for the ball game. Leiter has finished his warm-ups. They've tossed the ball around the infield. Digging in the right-handed batter's box, switch hitter Jose Vizcaino. And digging in behind the microphone for the play-by-play, John Sterling. And a good evening, John.
Well, Michael, good evening to you and to all of our Yankee listeners listening to New York Yankees radio. Here's Al Leiter, the left-hander, ready for the first pitch to Jose Vizcaino. Flashballs pop, and the pitch, a cutter, is inside 1-0. Vizcaino, a switch hitter, batting right. He's starting in place of Luis Sojo tonight because he has very good numbers in the past against Leiter. Overall in the playoffs, Vizcaino is 6 for 17, no homers, 3 RBIs. The 1-0 is grounded towards second. Alfonso Fields throws to first, 1 away.
He is so smooth. He's such a good second baseman, and what we've seen in this series is he has an incredible ability to move to his left and make the play. On the glove side, he's got great range that way, and that helps a pitcher, John, because he could shade up the middle and still get to the ball in the hole.
And he's done it every time. Here's Derek Jeter. Now, the numbers that I give you, first of all, we give you too many numbers, but the numbers I give you are for all the playoffs. And Jeter, throughout the playoffs, is 19 for 59, 3 homers and 8 RBIs. He led off last night's game with a home run on the first pitch. Leiter deals, Jeter takes, and the pitch inside 1-0. You have to wait for Tim McClellan to make the call, and normally I try to beat him to the punch and get fooled because he waits before he makes the call. It'll be a 1-0. There's a strike. That's an example. The count 1-1, a cutter on the inside corner. Leiter and Pettit offer the same pitches. Leiter throws harder. Cut fastballs inside of the right-hander as the pitch is high. Every now and then a 4-seam fastball thrown as hard as you can throw it. That was at 91. And then the 2-seam fastball, a sinker away, a changeup away, and also a breaking ball. That'll be a 2-1 to Jeter. Swung on and popped foul. First base side of home plate out of play. That was a fastball, and Jeter was late on it. The count 2-2.
Jeter has decent numbers against Leiter, 7 for 23, that's 304. And he also carries a 13-game World Series hitting streak into this ballgame.
Now that is impressive. We've just begun. Top of the first inning, no score. 1 out, no one on. It'll be a 2-2 to Jeter. And the pitch is cut out of Miskey. Struck him out swinging, 2 away.
Leiter really prepares for a World Series game and a big game a little bit differently than he used to prepare for the regular season games. And he tries to stay focused. He tries to go over the lineup the night before. He tries not to get distracted the night before, doesn't really take many phone calls, and really just keeps to himself. And after he was so successful, John, doing that before Game 7 of '97, he does that now before every regular season game, and he's become a much better regular season pitcher. He's become one of the best pitchers in baseball.
He has indeed. And he's become a better pitcher by throwing strikes and by actually not throwing as hard. Here's David Justice, and the pitch low. Tonight, the Yankee left-hand hitters have to get some hits off Leiter. Justice batting third, and Tino and O'Neill fifth and sixth. Joe didn't split them up because, first of all, Tino and O'Neill have become his best hitters along with Jeter in the World Series, and they hit left-handers. The pitch is fouled away. Justice is 12 for 59 in the playoffs, 3 homers, 12 RBIs. But even though 12 for 59 is, one at bat better than 200, Justice has gotten big hits throughout the playoffs. And against Leiter, in Game 1, he hit a 2-run double for the first 2 Yankee runs. And the only 2 runs that Leiter gave up. And it'll be a 1-1. And Leiter deals. It's inside the count, 2-1. You have to wait for McClellan, and I'm going to try my darndest to wait for him. A different Met look tonight with Kurt Abbott at short and Bubba Trammell right, and that is solely for offense, certainly not for defense. Bordick, a very good shortstop. Perez, a very quick outfielder. The pitch is outside the count, 3-1. Justice, like just about all the Yankees, takes pitches. He makes you throw strikes. They play Justice to hit to left center by a step. Peyton, the center fielder, is over in left center by a couple of steps. It'll be a 3-1. And there's a strike in the count, full 3-2. The crowd stands in support of Leiter. I think the Met crowd has been hurt. They've been chided for lack of support, so they're ready tonight. Here's the payoff. Hit on the ground to first. Fielded by Zeal, takes it to the bag. Leiter has a 1-2-3. So at the end of a half inning, the Yankees nothing, and the Mets are coming to bat.
Well, we go to the bottom of the first inning. The Yankees go down in order in the top of the first inning against Leiter, and now it'll be the top of the Met order: Agbayani, Alfonso, and Piazza against Andrew Eugene Pettit.
Here we go. Pettit's first pitch is a strike on the outside corner, a fastball. Agbayani elevated to the leadoff spot. Has the build of a linebacker, a very chunky right-hand hitter with great power. Good hitter, too. Pitch is low. Cutter. Agbayani in the playoffs, 15 for 46. That's one at bat worse than .333. A homer, 5 RBIs. And he will take pitches. The pitch is grounded to deep third, fielded by Brocious. The long throw is low, scooped up by Tino. What a play. Tino, the most underrated defensive first baseman in the game, and he made a great backhand scoop on a bad throw by Brocious.
He really does pick it out of the dirt very well. He saves his infielders a lot of errors, and right there he saved Andy Pettit quite a jam, because if that ball gets by him, well, Agbayani's on second base with Alfonso coming up. So right now with a scoop, you put it down, you might put a little star in your scorecard, but what does it mean? It means a lot. There's one out, nobody on.
Oh, one away, and here's Edgardo Alfonso, and Pettit deals high 1-0. When Pettit's right, he is going to get a lot of ground balls to third and short. He's not a strikeout pitcher. Alfonso, 15 for 52 in the playoffs, a homer and 10 RBIs. Been slumping in the series. Cut out of miss. There's a good fastball by Pettit. There's a four-seam fastball, and Alfonso was late on it. The count 1-1. Pettit, cutter in to right-hand hitters. The two-seamer down and away, he hopes. An occasional change down and away. An occasional four-seam fastball and curveball. Pitch. Caught on a miss. A fastball away, and the count 1-2.
Well, they have really pitched Alfonso well. 2 for 16 in this World Series, giving him just 1 RBI. And the matchup against Pettit's not too good. 1 for 16 lifetime against Pettit.
It is something how Alfonso has not hit and how Bernie Williams has not hit. 2 very good offensive players. Here is the pitch. It hit him. It came inside. I guess it missed him, and it must have gone off the glove of Posada back to the screen. I thought it clipped him on the way by.
He shrugged out of the way, and then he took a step toward first base, but he's not arguing. I think it just tipped off the glove of Posada on the way by.
So the count 2-2 with Piazza on deck. They play Fonzie straight away, and the 2-2 is in the dirt, and the count 3-2. Pettit wanted to throw the two-seam fastball. Threw it too low. So a payoff pitch to Alfonso. 1 out, no one on. Bottom of the first, no score. Game 5. The joint is jumping. Now Andy gets the Posada sign. Here's the payoff. It swung on a high chop. Brocious hustles, fields, fires. Got him. 2 away. So Brocious gets a couple of ground balls. Pettit is aided because he is a ground ball pitcher. And teams load up right-hand hitters. And let's face it, Mike, on the left side of the infield, you don't want anything better than Brocious and Jeter.
Well, having a Gold Glove third baseman certainly does help Pettit for the reasons that you just detailed. He throws the cutter in on the hands of the right-handed batters, and it jams them, and sometimes they'll hit hot shots down the line, or they'll hit ground balls in the hole. Jeter has good range to his right. Brocious has very good range, as he just showed, to his glove side, and that helps Pettit quite a bit.
In the playoffs, Piazza, who homered last night, is 14 for 48, 4 homers, 8 RBIs. He has 2 two-run home runs against the Yanks. And Pettit deals, swung on, and foul first base side out of play, a fastball in. There isn't any question, Mike. The way to get Piazza out, and you may not do it all the time anyway, is to get, as they say, in his kitchen. You have to keep him from extending the arms. Nagel was hit for a home run last night, and suppose I told you it was a good pitch. It was, I think, a change or two-seamer down and away, and I don't know how Piazza got it, and he not only got it, but he hit it way into the bleachers in left center. It'll be an 0-1-2 Piazza, 2 outs, no one on. And Andy to the 1, and the 0-1. Caught on it, missed a high fastball in, and the count 0-2. I would say when you throw Piazza an off-speed or breaking ball, you better miss with it. Because if it's over the plate, he's going to hit it out. He has enormous balance and power. Pettit is going after him all the way in. It'll be an 0-2. Swung on, hit on the ground at the middle. There's a base hit center field. So Piazza grounds one up the middle. And there's the first hit and the first base runner of the ball game. Now here's the hottest hitter against the Yankees, right-hand hitting Todd Zeile.
And the hottest hitter against Pettit, John, against the Yankees in the series, 8 for 17, that's 471. And he just missed 2 home runs, 1 off the wall and 1 caught at the wall. He has 1 ribby, but against Pettit, 12 for 35, and 3 of the 12 hits, home runs. So he's got Pettit's number, and Pettit does not have his.
But, you know, Mike, in the last 2 years when Pettit pitched against Texas in the division series, he had to pitch well against Zeile because Texas didn't score any runs. Zeile, a right-hand hitter. And the pitch is a strike on the inside corner. Good fastball. Zeile, in the playoffs, overall has good numbers. 16 for 50 with a homer and 9 RBIs. Now Andy deals low on the count 1-1. If Piazza hits a ground ball off you, you've done your job. He can't hit a ground ball out. That ground ball happened to be up the middle, but that's the Yankees will take that. He's that destructive a hitter. It'll be a 1-1 from Pettit. That just missed outside 2-1. You heard Joe Torre yesterday say that Piazza is one of the few players who's in scoring position when he comes to bat. Left-hand hitting Robin Ventura on deck if Zeile reaches. They play Zeile straight away. He'll use the whole ballpark. Has very good mechanics, a very short stroke. And Pettit deals low, and the count 3-1, low outside.
Now, Pettit's not wild. I don't think he wants to throw Zeile a strike. He'll deal with Ventura. That's the one thing about Pettit. That's why he says it's so tough for him to pitch a shutout, because he allows base hits. He's always around the plate, and sometimes he'll pitch around people.
Well, here's a damage pitch. Piazza leads off first, and the 3-1 swung on and chopped over the mound. Jeter fields, steps on the bag, end of inning. No runs, one hit, and one left. Now at the end of one inning of play, no score. To the second inning, Yankees and Mets are scoreless. He had Bernie Williams, who is living, as Mike said, a World Series from hell. He is 0 for 15 in the series, and he's 0 for his last 22. And Bernie swings and chops one foul outside of third. Bernie had a very good at-bat last night with a runner in scoring position, a run the Yankees needed. He hit a line drive, but right at shortstop Mike Bordick. Now for the playoffs, remember he's 0 for 22. Well, Bernie doesn't have bad numbers for the playoffs. He's 15 for 58 with a homer, 4 RBI. So at one point, he was 15 for 36.
Leiter's not the right guy for Bernie to get out of a slump against, though, because he's 4 for 26, 156 against the lefty.
The 0-1 is low outside. Mike, he's not the right guy for anyone to get out of a slump. He's just a terrific pitcher out Leiter.
And he's not an easy 0 for either. He makes you feel like you've been overpowered.
No, he has nasty stuff that moves. Everything he throws moves. It'll be a 1-1. And that just missed the outside corner. The count 2-1. Mike, that pitch is a strike with Jeff Kellogg on bringing, probably with Tim Welke.
Yeah, McClellan has more of a 17-inch strike zone, something very close to that.
McClellan rated as a terrific balls and strikes umpire. That'll be a 2-1 to Bernie. It's high fastball. And the count 3-1. So Bernie now will see a damage pitch from line. A damage pitch, if you have a guy as strong as Bernie, 3-1, you don't want to walk him, and you might throw a strike too good, but Bernie can do some damage. It'll be a 3-1 from Leiter, and the pitch is rammed foul outside of third. And so the count full 3-2. We'll give you some numbers on Leiter, and then in the bottom half on Pettit, regular season numbers over that long stretch of games, give you a better idea of what the pitches are like. And we'll do it after Bernie. It'll be a payoff. Bernie now steps out. Jay Payton, the center fielder, plays Bernie Williams a couple of steps around to left center. Basically straight away. Here's the payoff. A check swing, ground ball foul outside of first. Well, during the year, Leiter was 16-8 and ERA 3.20. In this day and age, what a low ERA. 31 games and starts, 208 innings, 176 hits. That's fabulous. 32 less hits than innings pitched. He walked 76, 3.5 per 9 innings. That's very good. He struck out 200. Hey, he's a great pitcher. His numbers are great. And here's the payoff. He fouled it in back on the ground and back at the plate. The league at 228 off him with 19 home runs.
Yankees Radio Network salutes our MVP kid of the day, Sandra Weibel of Bloomingdale, New Jersey, at Hackensack University Medical Center, New Jersey State Designated Children's Hospital.
Scoreless top of the second. And Leiter with the 3-2. Swung on and hit in the air to deep left. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Bernie goes boom. He drills a 3-2 pitch deep in the left field stands. Burn, baby, burn. And the Yankees take a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's a good way to get your first World Series hit of the year 2000. He breaks an 0 for 15 slide in the series, picks up a home run, his second of the postseason, his first of the Fall Classic, and it gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead. The Mets wanted to jump ahead in this game just for their own mental well-being, and now here they are down 1-0 in the second.
So it was a damage pitch, and Bernie hoisted it high in the air and deep left. Here's Tino, and the pitch outside 1-0. Well, Mike, you know you can only keep a hitter like Bernie down so long. The same is true of Alfonso.
Oh, that was a fastball right down the middle, a little bit above the belt, and he crushed it.
The 1-0. There is a strike. Tino is having a great playoff. He's 24 for 62 with a homer and 7 RBIs. It'll be a 1-1. Swung on and hit high in the air to left, not deep. Agbayani toward the line. He's there to make the catch one away. Mike, does it surprise you the tremendous crowd noise for the Bernie home run?
Well, that's what happened with the Jeter home run yesterday. And again, I heard Valentine saying today that it really startled his team that when Jeter's home run went out, it was about 50-50. And Jeff Nelson said before the game that the way he figures it is that the Mets didn't put their World Series tickets on sale until after they were definitely in the World Series. And the Yankees sold all their postseason tickets when they got into the postseason, meaning that they would have given the money back if you had bought tickets for the World Series and they never made it. So the Met fans didn't have a chance at Yankee tickets.
Paul O'Neill shrugs out of the way on a fastball. The count 1-0. O'Neill having a great World Series. Overall in the playoffs, he is 18 for 55, no homers, 7 RBIs. He started out ice cold against Oakland and for the first couple of games in Seattle, or against Seattle, and then started hitting midway through the Seattle series. The 1-0 is inside, and the count 2-0.
But it is amazing that in a visiting ballpark, people did cheer for Bernie, and you would think that he'd be booed as he rounded the bases, but that wasn't the case at all. I mean, there was much more than a smattering of applause.
That'll be a 2-0 to O'Neill. 1 in, 1 out, and the pitch is caught on him, missed. And the count 2-1. Jay Payton plays O'Neill toward left center, a couple 3 steps. So Bernie Williams, 0 for 15 in the World Series, gets the first hit and puts the Yankees ahead with a long home run to left field. It'll be a 2-1, fouled away third base side, and the count 2-2.
And now there's dueling chants, let's go Yankees, let's go Mets, and the fact that you can even hear people saying let's go Yankees is incredible.
O'Neill has stepped out of the box. Now he is back in again. Jorge Posada awaits on deck. It'll be a 2-2 from Leiter. The pitch is inside on the count 3-2. Leiter is trying, obviously, to hit both corners and stay away from the middle. I would guess, Mike, he probably try to throw a cut fastball into Bernie, but he didn't want to throw it all the way in and walk him. So he left it over the inside corner, and Bernie really got through it. It'll be a payoff to O'Neill. Bernie Williams' home run came on a 3-2. And Leiter deals. Caught on a miss. He struck him out swinging.
O'Neill turned around and looked at Piazza, could not believe that he swung through that pitch. Maybe he foul-tipped it as well. He must have, because I don't think he could believe that Piazza held on either. But he stared in, and the umpire said yes, he did, so he is out on strikes.
Now 2-8, that's a second strikeout for Leiter. Here's Posada. Georgie is 10 for 51 in the playoffs. No homers and 5 RBIs. Posada has caught every inning of every playoff game. And the high fastball, 1-0. This has been Posada's breakout year, not just with the bat, but also behind the plate. He has become a good receiver, has an excellent arm, death on pop-ups behind the plate, and he's a power-hitting catcher. The 1-0 is grounded foul outside of third. And the Yankees played a lot of playoff games. They played 5 with Oakland, 6 with Seattle, and thus far 4. So he's played every inning of 15 straight games. That'll be a 1-1 to Posada. 2 outs, no one on. A run in on the Bernie Williams home run, and the Yanks have a 1-0 lead. Now, Leiter is 1-1. Hit on the ground towards second. Alfonso fields. Throws to first in time. That'll do it. 1 run, 1 hit, and no one left at the end of an inning and a half. It's 1-0 Yanks. And there's the only lefty hitter in the lineup tonight. He's third baseman Robin Ventura, and Pettit deals high 1-0. Robin is 8 for 44 in the playoffs, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. Pettit has a lot of experience against Ventura, and obviously vice versa. Pitch high 2-0 because Ventura, a longtime American leaguer with the White Sox. So Pettit falls behind. It'll be Ventura, Trammell, and Payton, lefty, righty, righty. 2-0, and there's a strike in the count, 2-1. There's a good pitch by Pettit, Mike. He got that fastball right in on the hands. That's been one of the differences why Pettit is tough now against lefties. He's able to keep that fastball down and in. Pitch is pop fouled away third base side of home plate, 2-2. That and the breaking ball is a much better breaking ball this year.
Who's the left-handed hitting center fielder for the White Sox?
Singleton.
That was it. That
Yes.
was rock bottom. That's when he learned how to pitch the lefties, when he had to drop down, and Singleton still hit him. And he's been a different pitcher since that point. That was rock bottom. Even Joe Torre said it was rock bottom.
The 2-2. Breaking ball low, 3-2. Pettit was struggling last year at mid-year. And against the White Sox, he dropped down, did Pettit, which he never does, meaning he dropped his arm down to throw sidearm, and he threw a flat rolling breaking ball, and Singleton hit it out. The 3-2 is pop foul, third base side out of play. So, Joe Torre and others told Yankee brass, don't trade him. And from that point on, he was not traded, of course. Well, the Yanks are very lucky about that.
Imagine giving away a 28-year-old left-hander, and they signed him to a really incredibly reasonable contract. I think he makes 25.5 for 3 years, so 8.5 a year. I mean, in this day and age, that's a bargain.
It'll be a 3-2 to Ventura. And the pitch is a half swing. Did he go? He did. Strike 3 is called. I don't know if it's a swinging strikeout or called strikeout. I think it was a called strikeout. Ventura took a half swing, and I think the pitch, a fastball on the outside part, was a strike. And Pettit went on to go 19-9 this year and pitched well last year in the playoffs, and he has been one of the winningest pitchers in the big leagues since 1996.
Hey, Mets and Yankee fans can follow their team's pursuit of glory for extensive highlights, interviews, and expert analysis. Tune to the Jeep Subway Series postgame report immediately following the World Series game tonight on MSG Network and Fox Sports Net.
Right-hand hitting Bubba Trammell takes low. I don't know up to the minute stats, but Pettit, along with Glavine and Maddox, has won the most games in the big league since '96. Pretty good company, huh? Trammell takes a pitch outside, 2-0. Now, Bubba Trammell, 1 for 5 in the playoffs, no homers, 3 RBIs, a 2-run single off Pettit, a sac fly off Stanton. It'll be a 2-0. Low 3-0. Had pretty good numbers against Pettit with Tampa Bay. Trammell can hit home runs. He also strikes out with the Mets this year in very limited play. He hit 3 home runs. He also struck out 1 out of every 3 times. The pitch, there's a fast strike, and the count 0-1. 3-1, excuse me.
He laid that right in there. I guess they knew that Trammell was not going to be swinging.
That'll be a 3-1 to right-hand hitting Bubba Trammell. 1 out, no one on. Pitch is low, ball 4. So Trammell walks. And here's Jay Payton.
Payton 3 for 10 with a home run against Pettit. Had 17 homers during the regular season. This is considered his rookie season. He missed about the last 3 years with a variety of elbow and shoulder problems, and many people thought someone who was once a can't-miss prospect would never make it in the big leagues, but he has made it. And he's a candidate for Rookie of the Year. Probably won't win it, but just being a candidate is a victory for him.
He played his college ball at Georgia Tech. They must have had a pretty good team, along with Nomar Garciaparra and Jason Varitek of the Red Sox. The pitch to Peyton is a fastball inside, the count 1-0. During the playoffs, Peyton is 11 for 53, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. Peyton is a smallish right-hand hitter, but he has outstanding power and outstanding speed. He's got a lot of talent. 1 on, 1 out, and Pettit deals low in the count 2-0. Pettit has lost the strike zone. Pettit has one of the best pickoff moves in baseball, so runners don't go, and Trammell's not a base runner anyway, so he will stay close to home. It'll be a 2-0 to Peyton. And the Yanks with a 1-0 lead. And Peyton throws over there. Or Pettit throws over there. And Trammell is right about on the bag. During the year, Andy walked 80 in 205 innings, about 3.5 per 9 innings. He struck out 125. He's not a strikeout pitcher. The 2-0 strike on the outside corner, and the count 2-1.
Sometimes Andy Pettit falls into trouble where he completely loses his release point, and he's got to try to make an adjustment during the inning. And before he snapped out of it right at the trade deadline, John, remember he'd have these innings where he'd give 5 runs up and he'd lose the game.
The 2-1 cut on and missed. A good sinker by Pettit, the count 2-2. Right, he was plagued last year in the first half by big innings.
And they never recover, so he'd lose games 5-4. He'd give up 5 runs, and then the other innings he'd pitch shutout ball. So what he's done since the trade deadline of last year, John, he still gets into an occasional funk, but he's able to make the adjustment on the run. That's a sign of a veteran pitcher. Younger pitchers cannot do that, and they really get hurt.
It'll be a 2-2, low in the dirt. And the count 3-2. Now, Bobby Valentine has a choice. I would guess that they would send Trammell for this reason. Pettit's not a strikeout pitcher. Peyton's a right-hand hitter. He'll get a good look at Pettit, and at the worst, he'll hit a ground ball. That'll keep the Mets out of a double play. He does not go. The 3-2 is fouled. First base out of play. So I guess if you don't go, you don't go.
I think Valentine is scared of 2 things. Trammell would go, and Pettit would pick him off. Or Trammell would go, and Peyton would strike out. So I think he'd rather just assume that Peyton will hit the ball in the air and not on the ground for the double play. And Peyton's more of an uppercut-type swinger anyway.
Trammell with a short lead. Pettit holds the set, and the 3-2 is grounded foul at the plate. And you know what? It's probably a good thing that Trammell isn't going, because he, if anything, is moving back to first base when Pettit releases the ball. It'll be a 3-2 to Peyton. Yanks have a 1-0 lead on a Bernie Williams home run in the top of the second. We're in the bottom of the second. 1 on, 1 out. And Pettit throws over, and Trammell jumps back.
It's so loud in the outfield, the sound system I'm talking about, that Bernie Williams actually has earplugs in, and that could cause a problem with O'Neill or Justice calling him off a ball. Bernie can't hear anything out there. He'd rather do that than go deaf.
Which we are going. It'll be a 3-2 to Peyton. The pitch is swung on and lined to center field. Bernie on the run, can't get there. It's a base hit. O'Neill fields and fires in. So Peyton, a line drive single to right center. And now 2 on and 1 out. And here's the 8th place hitter, Kurt Abbott. Abbott is 1 for 10 in the playoffs. Now, even though he's a mid-infielder, he has power. He had 6 home runs in 157 at-bats this year. That's the good news. You want to hear the bad news? He struck out once every 3 times. He struck out over 50 times in 157 at-bats, a right-hand hitter. 2 on, 1 out. Pitch is swung on and line foul outside of third, and the count 0-1.
Pettit either hung a breaking pitch over the plate or a cutter stayed out there without much cut to it, but Abbott was right on the pitch, just a little bit out in front, and wrapped it foul.
The tying run is Trammell at second. The go-ahead run is Payton at first. Remember, this is the National League, no DH, so the pitcher is up next, and Al Leiter is a guy who can't hit a lick. That'll be an 0-1 to Abbott, and it's outside. And this is something that Al Leiter would say about himself. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a canoe. So we'll see how Pettit pitches to Abbott. Not that he's going to walk him. We'll see how he pitches against him. It'll be a 1-1. Abbott, a right-hand hitter. 2 on, 1 out. The pitch is hit on the ground weakly to short, not a double play ball. Jeter throws to first in time, 2 away. So now second and third, 2 out, and here is Leiter. Leiter is 0 for 7 in the playoffs.
Strangely, Leiter changed bats. I think he was going to use a different bat if he was going to bunt, and he took a lighter bat. Now that he's going to swing away, he went back into the dugout and got a different bat when the situation presented itself. He will not be bunting. Second and third and 2 outs.
During the year, Leiter was 3 for 58. And Pettit deals low in the count 1-0. There was a great broadcaster in this city many, many years ago, the late great Russ Hodges, who was fond of saying, "Anyone's dangerous who's waving a shillelagh up there." Skip Carey once said, well, yeah, obviously Russ Hodges never saw Rick Camp. Leiter 3 for 58 during the year, and he bunts toward first. Tino fields and throws to Pettit. No, it dropped. The ball's dropped. A run scores. So Leiter bunts his way on. A run scores, and the game is tied at 1.
That was some drag bunt by Al Leiter. Tino Martinez had a field. Then it turned into a foot race between Leiter and Pettit. And the throw by Tino to Pettit was on time. And the umpire at first base, Jerry Crawford, was signaling out. And then Pettit dropped the ball. Yep, Pettit just couldn't hold on to the ball.
So give Leiter a bunt single and an RBI, and the Mets tie the game at 1. Well, Tino juggled the ball. If he hadn't juggled it, the ball would have been there earlier, and Pettit might have made an easier catch. Here's Agbayani, and the pitch is grounded weakly to third. Going to be a tough play, and it goes past Brocious, a base hit. So Agbayani hits a top roller, gets an RBI, and the Mets take a 2-1 lead.
Well, Brocious tried to barehand the ball because it was such a slow roller. He didn't feel he had time to field, transfer, and then throw. And to make a play like that, barehanded, is very, very tough because the ball's not rolling that slowly. Had a little hop to it, and then it bounced just off the fingertips of Brocious and rolled behind him. So that is a base hit. By the way, they scored the Leiter bunt in error, and I'm not sure who the error is on, either Tino or Leiter. I assume, or Tino or Pettit. I assume it's on Pettit.
What an odd inning, huh? Well, 2 runs are in. Here's Alfonso, 2 on, 2 out. The pitch is outside, 1-0. Now Bernie snapped out of his hitting funk with a home run. Will Alfonso snap out of his problems and get a big base hit and also get Piazza up in this inning? 2 on, 2 out, 2 in. And the 1-0 is a half swing, a strike, and the count 1-1. It's a beautiful bunt by Leiter. A really beautiful drag bunt and forced Tino to go over and field it. He juggled it. If he juggled the ball in his hand after he grabbed it. And Pettit couldn't hang on, although he almost hung on. The 1-1 is a half swing, and the pitch inside, the count 2-1. I guess, Mike, since Crawford called the runner out, I guess the error is on Pettit.
And that was a tough ball for Pettit to field because, as you said, Tino bobbled, which made the play closer, and then really had to throw the ball very hard to Pettit from a close distance, and I think it handcuffed Pettit.
It'll be a 2-1 to Alfonso. Caught on a missed, and the count 2-2. So that scored a run, and Agbayani scored a run on a dribbler down the third baseline. Brocious made the only play he could. He had a bare hand, and the ball was hopping, and it hopped right over his bare hand. Leiter at second, Agbayani at first. 2 are in, and the Mets have a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the second. Now Pettit deals, swung on, and popped him up to shallow right. Vizcaino out near the line and makes the catch, and that ends the inning. 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. And now at the end of 2 innings of play, it's 2-1 Mets. Well, Leiter now has a 2-1 lead as he gets ready for the third. And he deals, and Brocious takes a cutter low in, and the count 1-0. It'll be Brocious, Pettit, and Vizcaino. Pitch swung on and popped up in the infield. Zeal down from first, makes the catch 1 away. Now 1 away. Pettit will take off the jacket.
That was a very un-Yankee-like inning. They usually don't give runs away. That's an unearned run. Both of them are unearned runs because if the E1 isn't made, that's the third out of the inning. And how about Leiter, who's very bad with the bat, having enough bat control to drag the ball.
That was a beautiful bunt. It really was. And Mike, if you go back to the Abbott ground ball, that was such a weak ground ball they couldn't get 2. Pettit, a left-hand hitter, takes a strike.
Well, it's time for the Yankee Injury Report, which is brought to you by Group Health Incorporated, GHI, and the network of over 56,000 providers and hospitals.
Now the pitch is foul, third base side out of play, 0-2.
Ramiro Mendoza, shoulder surgery. He's with the ball club. Alan Watson, shoulder surgery. He's with the ball club. Shane Spencer, knee surgery. Roberto Kelly, elbow surgery, not with the ball club. And after the season, Chuck Knobloch will visit Dr. James Andrews in Birmingham and have his elbow looked at further.
The 0-2 just missed outside. 1-2. I'd be better served, I think, to call Pettit a left-hand batter, because neither he nor the Yankee pitchers hit at all except during interleague in the National League parks. Pitch cut on him, missed. Leiter gets his third strikeout. They're a 2-way, and here's Vizcaino.
Panasonic leading the way in digital technology. For the latest in HD TV, DVD, digital imaging, and networking products, look to Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
Now 2-way, and here is Vizcaino, who was taking a lot of extra time coming up just to give Pettit a chance to get back to the dugout and sit down. Vizcaino grounded a second to begin the game. A switch hitter batting right. Now Leiter deals inside, the count 1-0. When the game shift back to Yankee Stadium, if the Yankees lose tonight, it'll be a 1-0 from Leiter. Caught on him, missed. And the count 1-1. Chuck Knobloch will be the leadoff hitter, and he would be the DH, and then they would play either Soho or Vizcaino at second. That'll be a 1-1. And the pitch is inside. And the count 2-1. A cutter is like a slider. And that pitch moved in toward Vizcaino at the last moment. A left-hander like Leiter's cutter will go in like a slider to left-hand hitter, to right-hand hitters. The 2-1, low outside. There's the two-seamer. Away in the count 3-1. Leiter does not want to walk Vizcaino. Even if Vizcaino gets a base hit, it's going to be a single. And the next hitter is a guy who can hit it out, Derek Jeter. So it'll be a 3-1, and Leiter deals. And it's a strike on the inside corner of the count 3-2. McClellan calls pitches so late that Vizcaino was taking off the shin guard and getting ready to walk to first base.
I think, and we talk about this during the regular season all the time, that in a showcase event like the World Series, have an umpire like that behind the plate. Now, I know he's a good balls and strike guy, but people are watching at home. The players want to know right away. It's loud here with the Jets. Vizcaino could not hear him say strike. Unbelievable.
Now here's the payoff pitch. It's strike 3 called. So Leiter gets his fourth strikeout. 3 up and 3 down. And now at the end of 2.5 innings of play, it's 2-1 Mets.
We go to the bottom of the third inning. It'll be 3, 4, and 5 in the Met order. Piazza, Zeile, and Ventura.
Well, here is Piazza, who singled to center his first time and takes inside in the count 1-0. 1-1 and 1 Yanks, and boy, the error was a big one. The one hit, the home run by Bernie for the Yankee run. It'll be a 1-0, and the pitch caught on and missed. A change down and away in the count 1-1.
Well, there are many baseball legends, but there's only one legend in the SUV game, Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth.
Pettit deals. Cut on, hit on the ground wide of third. Scooped up by Brocious. He throws to first in time, 1 away.
Boy, that was the old worm burner. Didn't leave the ground by much, and Brocious really had to wait for it to get to him. He cut to his glove side, but he was there in plenty of time. Piazza didn't run very well down the line. He was hustling, but the legs were moving. He just wasn't moving along with them.
So 1 down, here's Todd Zeile. Zeile grounded to short his first time. He grounded into a 6-4 force. Not 6-4, just grounded out 6. Force out 6 unassisted as Jeter took it himself. The pitch to Zeile is low on the count, 1-0. It's a 2-1 ball game Mets. A walk and a single with 1 out. Here's the 1-0. Fastball outside. A slow ground ball by Abbott got the runners to second and third, and Leiter surprised the world by drag bunting. And the Yankees just about nipped him, but Pettit dropped the ball for an error. A run scored. And then Agbayani had a slow roller down third for a base hit for the second run. Zeile takes a breaking ball strike, and the count 2-1. Now Andy deals. There's a fast strike on the count 2-2. The pitch comes in and comes over, and then McClellan calls it. So you can't say strike until McClellan says strike. The 2-2 is strike 3 called on the inside corner, and they're a 2-way.
And, you know, Major League Baseball really doesn't have an excuse anymore because now they do run the umpires and they do evaluate the umpires and they can discipline the umpires and they can call in Tim McClellan and a John Shulock type and say, you either call the balls and strikes right away or you don't umpire anymore.
There's Robin Ventura, and there's a breaking ball strike on the count 0-1. Basically, Pettit is pitching a very good game because he's getting ground balls. The only ball that wasn't hit on the ground was a line drive single by Payton. Ventura hits a ground ball to second, backhanded by Vizcaino, throws to first in time, and that'll do it. So 1-2-3 go the Mets. At the end of 3 innings of play, the Mets 2 and the Yankees 1. Well, here we go to the 4th. It'll be Derek Jeter, David Justice, and Bernie Williams. Right, left, right. Jeter struck out his first time. Leiter has a 2-1 lead and deals, and the pitch just missed outside, 1-0. Now, I'd say that Leiter and Pettit both have good stuff and are pitching the way they pitch, which is very effectively the 1-0. Swung on and line to deep left. Agbayani back, away back, makes a catch, and there's one away as Agbayani retreated and caught the ball in left center field.
Boy, I thought he got a little bit more of that than he did. Must have gotten it right off the end of the bat. And Agbayani backpedaled quickly, got to the spot, turned, and the ball was right there.
Now here's David Justice, who grounded to first on a 3-2 pitch. And the Yankee run, the Yankee hit, the Yankee base runner, Bernie Williams, who homered to lead off the second inning. David Justice has had a heck of a career. He has been with 3 teams, the Atlanta Braves, the Cleveland Indians, and the New York Yankees. And because he came up with the Braves when they just started to win in the early 90s, then went to Cleveland, and this year, of course, the Yanks. Leiter deals. Justice takes inside, just gets out of the way. Second time he's thrown inside on Justice. That's to set up his pitches, whether the cut fastball or breaking ball down and away, and the count 1-0. But Justice has been with 3 great teams, and so they're in the playoffs every year. So Justice has had 92 playoff games. The 1-0 is outside the count, is 2-0. Some guys never make it, and this guy is going to have a season in the playoffs. 92 games and 53 RBIs.
And those are both Major League postseason records.
It'll be a 2-0 to Justice. And the pitch is swung on and line to left. Agbayani is right there, and he makes a catch toward the line. And they're a 2-way.
Well, the Yankees hit the ball hard the first 2 balls in this inning, but both of them right at Agbayani, so you could take that out of it and say, well, at least they're seeing the ball a little bit better, but they didn't get a base hit.
Now 2 down. Here's Bernie. Bernie Williams in the second inning hit a long home run to left field to break a 15 at-bat hitless streak, and takes a breaking ball low, 1-0. Bernie's second playoff home run. He has had a lot of playoff home runs and a lot of big ones. He's hit home runs from both sides of the plate in the same game a couple of times. The pitch is hit on the ground wide to third and will be through to left field, a base hit. So Bernie singles with 2 outs, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, now he's hot. If you could figure this out, boy, could you make money.
What, did that ball rocket through the infield? I mean, it didn't jump very high on any of the bounces. It stayed very close to the ground, and usually an infielder could get to that, but it looked like it was shot out of a cannon alongside the ground.
So the Yanks get a 2-out single, and here's Tino. Now Bernie went up to bat 22 times in a row without a hit. Now he's 2 for 2 tonight.
Well, Bobby Valentine said before the game, he said, you know, when you look at Alfonso and you look at Williams, and they're 2 great hitters, you kind of figure if there's a game 5, 6, and 7, obviously there's going to be a game 5, that those 2 will snap out of it at some point. They're too good.
Leiter holds the set and deals. Caught on a miss on a breaking ball. The count 0-1. Tino fly to left his first time. And the Mets have a 2-1 lead here in the 4th. Now Leiter at the belt, deals, swung on, hit it high in the air, down the left field line, foul. Ventura in foul territory makes the catch, and that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And now at the end of 3.5 innings of play, the Mets 2, the Yankees 1.
For the Mets, freeze frame game.
There's Bubba Trammell to lead off, and he takes a breaking ball strike. Trammell walked his first time. That helped build the Mets 2 runs. With us is the number 1 citizen of this great city, the mayor, Rudy Giuliani. Pettit deals. It's line to right field. There's a base hit toward the line. O'Neill cuts it off, and Trammell holds with a soft single to right. Well, Your Honor, before I get to tonight's game, you're a baseball fan since you've been a little boy, and last night, we thought was one of the classic baseball games. What did you think?
I thought it was a great game. I thought it was a brilliantly managed game. I mean, one of the gutsiest managing moves ever in bringing in David Cohn, right? Right? With one more out to get the win, right? Wow. And I thought Valentine made a lot of smart moves, including tonight. I think he did absolutely the right thing in putting Agbayani up as the leadoff hitter.
Trammell leads off first. Here's Peyton, who followed Trammell's walk in the second with a single. A throw to first. Trammell's back.
All right, let's get some ticker tape parade details, because I've heard a lot of things. Now, if the Mets win the World Series, it has to be in 7 games. So if the World Series ends in 7, when would the ticker tape parade
Tuesday.
be? Now, the World Series ends tonight or Saturday for the Yankees, it would be?
Monday.
Okay.
So Saturday, Monday, the pitch to Peyton is low. Obviously tonight, Monday, and Sunday, either team Tuesday, right?
Correct. Absolutely right. Monday or Tuesday are the days for the parade. There's also good weather reports for Monday.
And it makes no sense to have a Saturday because nobody's at work to throw the stuff down on the...
I think people on Wall Street would be really disappointed. They get used to it now.
Uh-huh.
Well, boy, have you ever had great weather in your city for this World Series. Pettit deals to Peyton. Swung on, hit on the ground, weakly to second. Vizcaino goes to short. There's one. That's all they get. A ball not very hard hit. A 4-6 force, but now you have the speedy Peyton at first, who might do some running. And here's the shortstop, Kurt Abbott. Well, I know that you're more than pleased having the World Series exclusively in New York. What a boost for the city.
This is absolutely terrific. I mean, it's created enormous excitement, tremendous amount of economic activity, great publicity for the city. We're getting publicity all over the world. It's absolutely, and it's a good World Series. I mean, it's a really, despite the fact that the Yankees are ahead 3-1, they're separated by 1 run, and all the games have been good games, good baseball games.
Kurt Abbott grounded to short his first time. A throw to first. Peyton is back. Peyton's a base runner, but with Pettit out there, kind of cuts down the running game, and it's just a better thing when you have warm and unseasonable weather. And boy, we've had it now.
Right. Tell me if this umpire doesn't take forever to call strikes.
Forever. The pitch is cut on a miss. It's worse if you're doing play-by-play because you want to call the pitch right away, and you can't do it.
I thought it led to some of the problems Vizcaino had when he was up, when he took his shin guard off after thinking it was, and then the guy called a strike and then called another strike on him.
And you knew the next pitch after he took his shin guard off, if it was in Queens, it was going to be called a strike.
But I don't think Vizcaino was trying to show him up. I think
because he
he
didn't
didn't
hear
anything.
Right.
He didn't hear a call.
That'll be an 0-1. 1 on, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th, 2-1 Mets. And Pettit deals low, a backdoor breaking ball. And the count is 1-1 on Abbott.
I might be speaking too soon, but one thing that, as a native New Yorker, I take pride in, so many people predicted doom and gloom, that there would be so many fights, and it's really been mellow.
No. I mean, they're lusty and passionate, but, appropriate.
Fastball's outside 2-1. Mike, I didn't even think to bring that up, and I haven't seen, normally in any ball game you'll see people turn and guys are separate. I haven't seen one fight.
Right.
So I think it's been terrific. Not one person's gone on the field.
And there doesn't seem to be an inordinate number of police, a big police presence. It's pretty much normal.
Yeah, it is pretty normal.
It'll be a 2-1. And Abbott takes inside 3-1. Al Leiter on deck. The odd thing is, if Abbott walks, then you'll see Leiter bunt again, but not for a hit, just to move the runners up.
That was a very smart move, having Leiter bunt. And he's not much of a hitter, so
A terrible hitter.
might as well let him put the ball in the field and see what happens.
It'll be a 3-1. Pettit throws over, but Peyton's right on the bag. The Mets have studied their scouting report, and they're not going to give Pettit a chance to pick him off. There's a very good hit and run pitch. First of all, it's outside, it's ball 4. And Abbott walks anyway, so he only has to swing at a strike. Now the 3-1 is a bloop over first foul. Tino can't catch. It's in the crowd. A broken bat.
And they're yelling for Jeter to throw it. The barrel of the bat went all the way out to Jeter.
He even handed it to the bat boy instead of flipping it to him.
That was very funny.
Very funny. And now the crowd gives a standing ovation to the ball boy, or Jeter, for handing the bat. I got it. Well, Rudy, if there is a game Saturday,
oh my goodness!
Can you imagine?
We may have to have a few extra police at that game.
Can you imagine how much you'll read
the next 2 days?
You'll see that thing 1,000 times.
I've already seen it 1,000 times.
Now they're chanting Roger, Roger in the sing-song manner. They used to chant Darryl, Darryl.
It'll be a 3-2 to Abbott with 1 out, and the pitch is cut on and pop foul, first base out of play, and Peyton was not running 3-2.
All right, what are the specifics for the ticker tape? What time does it start?
My recollection is we start at about 11 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Everybody gets there around 10, all the players, and we have a get-together and a little party and a breakfast, but it actually starts at 11, and you try to have the ceremony at City Hall about 12:30 to 1.
Well, one thing about the Yankees.
And we've always had great weather, as you remember.
Yes.
Fabulous
We've done all 3 of them. So.
I'll get to my dumb point in a minute. It'll be a 3-2 to Abbott. Pitch is foul straight back. What Mike and I do is, with the players and Yankee officials, we go to the stadium because you don't want to drive downtown, and we go in buses. And the Yankees have a veritable armada of buses.
Yeah.
I mean, there might literally be 12 or 15 buses, a caravan.
Right, and the police getting them through. And,
Oh, that's the best part.
No
Can I
traffic.
get that one day?
No traffic problem.
No traffic.
But you have never seen more buses in your life. It'll be a 3-2 to Abbott. Peyton at first base, 1 out. Pitch is fouled back to our right.
Very close to us. Michael almost made the play.
I was going for it.
And the count holds at 3-2.
Luis Soho fouled one back here yesterday into our booth.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We did not make the play.
Oh, he picked it up off the ground, though.
I think he's having too much trouble with Abbott.
I'll tell you what, if he walks him, then you can have
don't
Leiter
want- you
bunt
don't
him
want
over
that.
and you then have a big out in the game. So Pettit trying to throw a strike, 3-2. The pitch is outside, ball 4. There are 2 on and 1 out. A very good at bat for Kurt Abbott.
Second time that we've made Leiter a useful batter.
Leiter looks down at Cookie Rojas, but I would be absolutely stunned if he does anything but bunt here. He even bunted with 2 outs before, so with 1, he's definitely bunting.
And if he gets the bunt down and gets the runners over, boy, then Agbayani has a shot at it to get 2 runs in with a base hit. Oh, he's got a bunt. 2 on, 1 out, and Pettit throws to first. They pick him off. How do you like that?
Now that, I
Abbott
think,
got picked
just
clean.
wrong.
We told you about Pettit's pickoff, and he got picked clean.
Bad baseball. Bad baseball.
I was
how
a-
do-
I
how
was
do
a-
you get, how do you get picked off?
You know, they deked him into it. Here's what happened. I was about to say Brocious is in and Tino is not. So when Pettit went into the kick, well, Tino cut right in front of the runner and blocked his path to first base, and then Pettit made a perfect throw. And boy, was he sleeping.
You would think that you just stick close to that bag until the ball is released.
Oh, that's huge.
They're not going to make the play at second.
Well, that is terrible baseball. And now, if Pettit gets Leiter, he's out of the inning, and Leiter takes a breaking ball strike. He's not fooling around with any fastballs. He threw him a hook, and the count 0-1. And Mike, was he out by a lot?
Yes.
That was not even close.
So Abbott gets picked, and that's a pickoff 1-3. Leiter, who bunted and reached on an error his first time to bring in the first run, swings and misses, and the count is 0-2. Boy, did the Yankees get a break. Because if Leiter gets the bunt down and there's second and third 2 out, you have a really good hitter in Agbayani. And Rudy, a base hit, make it 4-1.
Yep. After a great at-bat, you can't understand what Abbott was doing. Not staying close to the bag.
Amazing. Now Andy holds the set, and the 0-2 is hit on the ground to short. And Jeter fields and throws to first, end of inning.
Well,
Rudy, I hope I'll see you after the game in the clubhouse.
hope to see you later with champagne all over me. In
And
any
then-
event, I know I'm seeing you on Monday.
And then on the stage, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
All right.
No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And now at the end of 4 innings of play, it's 2-1 Mets. Now we go to the 5th. New York Yankees baseball brought to you in part by Kodak Max Film. It's all you need to know about film. 1, 2, and 1. Both hits by Bernie. A home run for the run and a single. 2-4-0 Mets. Now we get to the midway portion of the game. It'll be Paul O'Neill to lead off against Leiter, lefty to lefty. And here with the play-by-play is Michael Kay.
Thank you, John. O'Neill struck out in the 2nd inning, and in the World Series, he's 9 for 17. Defense plays him straight away, and the pitch. Foul back to the screen, 0-1. Peyton somewhat shallow in center field, shaded toward left center. Paul O'Neill has, I said, 9 hits and 17 at bats. That's an over 500 batting average in the World Series. And the 0-1. Inside 1-1. Only 5 players have batted above 500 in a World Series in which they had more than 15 at bats. Babe Ruth in 1928 was 10 for 16. Chris Sabo in 1990, Paul O'Neill's teammate, was 9 for 16. Lou Gehrig in 1932. Munson in 76 and Dane Orge in 82, all 9 for 17. The pitch is low and away, check swing, 2-1. And O'Neill is also the 12th player to triple in consecutive World Series games. He had one yesterday and the day before. Chick Stahl of the 1903 Red Sox, John, you remember seeing him, is the only player to do it in 3 straight games.
Yeah, he was just a young chick at the time. A baby chick, I guess.
The 2-1. Breaking ball strike on the inside corner. O'Neill was shrugging out of the way, and ball whispered across the inside corner. It's 2-2. On deck, Jorge Posada. Mets lead the Yankees 2-1, top of the 5th inning. Leiter deals the 2-2. Nub foul on the ground all the way to the backstop, still 2-2. One, 2-1 for the Yanks, 2-4-0 for the Mets. The one error by the Yankees, Andy Pettitte dropped a toss from Tino Martinez, and that allowed the 2 runs to come in the 2nd, and they were both unearned. The 2-2. Breaking ball inside. Again, O'Neill kind of shrugs out of the way, and the count full at 3-2.
Boy, is Leiter working O'Neill in, and he's also worked into Justice. He has kept most of his pitches inside to the left-hand hitters.
O'Neill takes a couple practice swings outside. Now gingerly steps into the box. Close stance. His front foot, he's up on his toe. And the 3-2. Swung on and grounded over the head of Leiter. Moving to his left is Abbott. Fields behind the back. Fires to first. In time, they get him. And Lee Mazzilli doesn't like the call, and neither does Paul O'Neill. Now Mazzilli gets between O'Neill and Jerry Crawford at first and then pushes O'Neill out of the way. And here comes Joe Torre to argue the point.
Well, it was bang, bang, and I don't think from up here we could call it. Abbott had to twist his body, and his throw floated a bit, and the throw either just beat him or O'Neill just beat the throw. Mike is closer to the monitor.
I don't know, looked like a tie. It's hard to tell from the angle behind first base. Now we see another angle. This is from high first base. Off balance throw. And again, it's hard to tell on that one too. So nothing conclusive.
I'd say it was
this one might be better.
I'd say it was so close it looked like O'Neill's foot hit the bag as the throw hit his glove. Anyway, it's so close that what you say to Jerry Crawford is, it's your call, and he called him out.
Here's Posada. A nice play by Abbott ranging up the middle, and then a pretty strong throw. Good stretch by
Look,
Zeal.
We've just seen. Well, go ahead, Mike. Call the pitch.
And the pitch to Posada is a line drive to left field that is going to dunk in for a base hit in front of Agbayani. So that was a big call at first base. Agbayani flips it into Abbott, and Posada's on with a one-out single.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing because people, will write or call it such. We've just seen the play in slow motion 3 times or 4 times, and you know what? We can't definitively say he was safe or out. So if that's the case, then you got to accept the call. And boy, that was a big call because if it wasn't for that call, the Yankees would have 2 on and no one out.
Boy, Lee Mazzilli kind of manhandled Paul O'Neill, who's a big guy, pushed him away with his right forearm, and O'Neill almost stumbled backward, but Mazzilli did the right thing. He doesn't want O'Neill getting thrown out. Here's Scott Brosius. And Leiter throws to first. Posada is back. The base hit by Posada, the Yankees' 3rd of the evening. Brosius popped to first. That was in the 3rd. And the pitch. A cutter strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Brosius, a .395 career average in World Series play. Throw to first, and Posada is back in plenty of time. 2-1 Mets over the Yankees. All the runs coming in the 2nd inning. Bernie Williams snaps an 0-for-15 slide with a home run in the top of the 2nd, and then 2 unearned runs in the 2nd. Squibb, first base side, fielded by Zeal, steps on the bag 1, throws to 2nd, not in time. Posada slides in ahead of the tag by Abbott.
Well, once Zeal tagged the bag, that took off the force, so Abbott would have to tag Posada, and the throw was high, so I think Posada would have beaten the throw anyway, but there was no tag. So the Yankees have a runner at 2nd, 2 out, and here's Andy Pettitte, and if Pettitte gets a hit, that would be amazing because he has barely ever swung the bat. And as a result, Benny Agbayani, the left fielder, comes in really at Little League depth. He is playing right behind short and 3rd.
Denny Nagel hit one to the warning track last night, but Denny Nagel swung the bat a lot more than Pettitte. The pitch. Swung on and grounded. Just foul outside of 3rd. He missed a double by about 3 inches. Swung late, hit a ground ball, and it just missed hitting the 3rd base bag.
There are breaks and there are breaks. In the first break, they called O'Neill out, and this break, Andy, and it was foul. But, I mean, it was just foul, and you can't play anyone right over the bag, and actually that ball would have been down the line for a double. Andy broke his bat, and if you're a Ventura, I think you start thinking of playing a little closer to the line.
Pettitte gets a new piece of lumber. He's shaking his left hand. Maybe he jammed himself with that pitch, or the bat vibrated because it was off the end of the bat. Posada, the tying run is at 2nd. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Mets lead the Yankees 2-1.
Didn't Pettitte, Mike, as a hitter in one of these World Series games, hit a long fly one time? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do remember it. It was on the road. It wasn't at Yankee Stadium. The 0-1. Swung on and grounded to 2nd base. Right there is Alfonso. Field, sets, flips to Zeal, and Pettitte stops halfway between 1st and home. So that'll do it for the Yankees in the 5th inning. No runs a hit, and 1 man left at the end of 4.5. We're halfway through. Mets 2, Yankees 1. Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be the top of the Mets order against Andrew Eugene Pettitte. It'll be Agbayani, Alfonso, and Piazza. The Mets lead 2-1. All the runs scoring in the 2nd inning. The Yankee run on Bernie Williams' home run. With 1 out in the 2nd, Bubba Trammell walked. Jay Payton stroked a single to right center field, putting runners on 1st and 2nd. Kurt Abbott hit a soft ground ball to short. They can only get 1, so that was the 2nd out of the inning, having the runners move up to 2nd and 3rd. And then Al Leiter surprised everybody with a drag bunt down the first base side. Fielded by Tino Martinez wide of the bag at first. He flipped with some oomph to it to Andy Pettitte, and Pettitte bobbled the ball, dropped it. It was an E1, the tying run scored. And then Agbayani A slow roller down the third base line under the hand of Brosius to give the Mets the lead. The pitch to Agbayani is a breaking ball strike on the inside corner, 0-1. So the unearned runs by the Mets have given them a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back here, just to the right of our booth, which is down the right field side. So the count is 0-2. We are definitely on the first base side of home plate, and that was further to our right. Agbayani, a stocky right-handed batter. And the 0-2. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Jerry Crawford, the first base ump. It was in the dirt, so Posada tags Agbayani in the batter's box, one away. That was a cutter that acted as a slider, so you put down a K on your scorecard, and the putout goes to Posada. Here is Alfonso.
You know, Pettit has been so effective tonight, Mike. He hasn't given up a fly ball. Now, there have been a couple of singles that have been looped to the outfield. One a line drive by Payton, the other kind of a looping line drive by Trammell. But not one fly ball, so you have to say Pettit is doing exactly what he wants. He just dropped that throw from Tino.
Here's Alfonso, who's 0 for 2. He grounded to third and popped to second. And the pitch. Swung on and grounded sharply to short. Right there is Jeter. Fields and flips across the diamond two-way here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Now here's Mike Piazza. Piazza singled up the middle, just to the left of Jeter in the first inning, and then grounded to third. That was in the third. Taking his time walking to home plate, because what he's doing is he's giving Leiter a little respite. The outs were made quickly, the first two outs of the inning. In all likelihood, he'll take the first pitch as well. Brosius deep at third, close to the line. And the outfield deep and straight away. And the pitch to Piazza is swung on and drilled to left center field, giving chase Bernie Williams. He can't get there, and that ball goes all the way to the wall. Fielding out there is Bernie Williams, and he flips it into Jeter, a two-out double for Piazza. So Piazza outthought Pettit, who probably figured he was going to take the fastball on the first pitch, and he swung at the pitch and drilled it to left center for a double.
Well, Mike, that's very dangerous. If Pettit really was thinking that way, it was a low fastball in, and boy, did he hit it. Because even though he wanted to give Leiter some rest, he also might give up a home run, which would give Leiter a two-run lead. Now, a base hit by Zeile would give him a two-run lead.
Zeile's 0 for 2, but he has caused Pettit many problems throughout his career. Coming into the game 12 for 35, that's 343 with 3 home runs. And they will intentionally walk Zeile, and then they'll deal with Ventura. So one pitch thrown intentionally outside. Posada holds his bare hand out. There's ball 2. Two to 1 Mets lead the Yankees, bottom of the fifth. There's ball 3. And Pettit sets at the belt, and he will throw ball 4 intentionally outside. So Zeile intentionally walked. That leaves it up to Ventura. Ventura 0 for 2. Struck out in the second, grounded to second in the third. Ventura in the World Series is 3 for 18. Lifetime against Pettit coming into this game 5 for 22, 2 homers. That's 227 batting average. Lefty to lefty. And the pitch to Ventura. Here's a pitch strike on the inside corner, 0-1.
And Ventura in the playoffs is 0 for 6 against Pettit.
And in the postseason overall, 8 for 46. And the pitch. Swung on a miss. Fastball outside, and the count quickly 0-2. He does have 2 homers and 8 runs batted in. That's in the postseason as a whole. Pettit brings the hands together, sets at the belt, checks the runner at second. The 0-2. missed outside of 1-2. It is almost a hot evening in New York City. When I got to the ballpark, I think it was 74 degrees, and that was about 3:30 in the afternoon. You just cannot believe that on October 26th, this is the weather on the East Coast, the Northeast. But the weather has been great for every single game. First and second, 2 outs. The 1-2 to Ventura. Swung on and driven out to deep left field. Backing up Justice. He's there, and he makes the play about 5 feet in front of the warning track for the final out of the inning. So the strategy worked. No runs a hit, 2 men left at the end of 5 full. Mets 2, Yankees 1.
Sun America Mutual Funds, the retirement specialist. Sun America Mutual Funds, the official investment sponsor of New York Yankees Radio. Well, here we go to the 6th. It's 2-1 Mets, 2 unearned runs in the second inning, offsetting a Bernie Williams home run. Top of the order for the Yanks, and once again, here's Michael.
Thank you, John. Leiter's thrown just 66 pitches. The pitch to Vizcaino is low and inside with a cutter, 1-0.
Well,
Mike, he has not walked a batter, and he struck out 4.
We expected both guys to pitch terrific games, and they're pitching terrific games.
Vizcaino's 0 for 2, and the 1-0. There's a strike on the inside corner, 1-1. Now Ventura very close to the bag at third. I'd say by about 4 feet. Now he backs up slightly behind it. They pinch up the middle, and the 1-1. Swung on and grounded right back to Leiter. He took a base hit away, and he flips to Zeile 1 away. That was headed to center field, but Leiter stuck the glove up, and the ball stuck in the glove. 1 down. There's a little factoid, John. I don't know if you realize it. The primary colors for the Mets before they added black are the royal blue and the orange. You know why they did that?
I think so.
Okay, tell me.
I don't know why they are, but I think those are the official colors of New York.
That's not the reason.
Oh.
But you'll like the reason.
They're the colors of the Knicks?
Nope.
Okay.
Here's Jeter. He's 0 for 2. And the pitch. Inside, 1-0. They wanted to incorporate the primary colors of the Giants, orange, and the Dodgers, blue, to make the Met uniform.
Oh, the 2 New York teams. Okay. And that was a royal blue, and the Giants kind of were black and orange, I guess.
And the 1-0. 2-seam fastball away, 2-0.
That's a factoid.
That's a factoid.
I mean,
Small fact.
A fact that's not important.
To some people it might be, but I guess to you it's a factoid.
Okay.
Ventura close to the line again, but deeper for Jeter at third. And the 2-0. Swung on a drill deep to left field. Backing up Agbayani. Looking up. See ya! Over the Met bullpen in left field. Over the bleachers in left field. A home run for Jeter, and the Yankees have tied the game at 2. Oh, what a shot by Derek Jeter.
Mike, that ball was hit. When he hit the ball, it was out, and I think it might have gone out of the entire ballpark. It went over the bullpen. Now, whether it got off the fence that encloses Shea Stadium, I don't know. But you know what? What a shot. It reminds me of a Piazza home run against the Yankees a couple of years ago on a Saturday afternoon. A fastball. He didn't get it all the way in. It was up about belt high. And boy, did Jeter belt that.
You know, I said Met bullpen. That's obviously the Yankee bullpen out there. Here is Justice, and the pitch. Low and away, 1-0. So now, Pettit could think, okay, the unearned runs are gone. I'm even. And that's got to make him feel a lot better.
And, Mike, this home run and the one last night and hits like that.
The pitch to Justice is a strike outside corner, 1-1.
Why we who've seen Derek Jeter play every single game he's ever played, why we know that he is a flat-out winner. I don't mean because he's hot, but I mean he just does things to help win games. And this time he hit a home run. It might be a base hit. It might be a good fielding play. It might be a good base running play.
1-1 to Justice. There's a strike on the outside corner with a cutter, 1-2. The home run extends Jeter's World Series hitting streak to 14 straight, the longest hitting streak in Major League history during the World Series. It belongs to Hank Bauer, and that's 17 in a row. And the 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he went. Dropped by Piazza, and he tags Justice for the second out of the inning. So 2 down. That brings up Bernie Williams.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by the Claridge Casino Hotel. If you want to be part of the action, come to the place where the excitement is all around you. The Claridge. Smaller, friendlier, and so much more. Mike, I would bet you the proverbial dollars to donuts that Leiter pitches Bernie very carefully. He's homered, he's singled, and there's a left-hand hitter, Tino, due after Bernie.
John mentioned Bernie's 2 for 2. The pitch from Leiter. Cutter inside, the count 1-0. And you know Bernie has to feel better. He's not as anxious at the plate. And Bernie is a really good hitter from the right side. The numbers have kind of swung in favor of him in the left side. But his natural side is right. He has great power from the right side. So the game is tied at 2 in the top of the 6th. The 1-0 to Williams. Low, 2-0. Now this is a damage pitch right here, 2-0. Bernie steps out to think about it, and maybe Leiter is thinking along with Sterling, and he will pitch around Bernie. That might be the prudent thing to do.
And you know, too, like Joe did with him in Seattle, if it's ball 3, 3-0, he's swinging.
The 2-0 is low, 3-0. So now he will probably get the green light, and again, Leiter will probably throw the pitch out of the strike zone. Leiter contorting his face, still very upset about giving up the home run to Jeter, biting his bottom lip as he gets the sign. And the 3-0. Low and away, Bernie Williams walks. So a 2-out walk to Bernie. He's been on base all 3 times tonight, and that brings up Tino Martinez. You know, the Mets are trying to come back from a 3-1 deficit, John, and when they lose a lead, that's got to have a psychological effect on them.
Well, I think so. Although Leiter's pitching great, he's made 2 mistakes, Bernie's home run and Jeter's home run. Other than that, he's pitched terrific. Hey, listen, the Yankees could think, what if? Because if Pettit had held on to Tino's flip on the bunt, it'd be 2-0 Yankees. And, I mean, Nelson, Stanton, and Rivera would be getting themselves ready.
Martinez 0 for 2. Fly to left and fouled out to Ventura at third. Leiter throws to first and Bernie's back. Now they have a plan that they'd like to run against Piazza whenever they can, but with Zeal doing the lead-off hold at first base and Leiter with a pretty decent move to first, Bernie doesn't want to get picked off. And again, a throw to first, and again, Bernie scampers back. 2-4-1 Yankees, 2-5-0 for the Mets. Top of the 6th inning here at Shea Stadium in New York. And the pitch. Cutter, strike, outside corner, 0-1. Tino looks down at Willie Randolph to see if there is a sign on. Abbott shades up the middle for the lefty swinging Martinez. Ventura off the line at third. Throw to first. Bernie's back. 2-2, top of the 6th. Home runs by Bernie Williams and Derek Jeter, the Yankee runs. And the Mets 2 unearned runs in the bottom of the 2nd inning. That's where we stand here in the top of the 6th, a deuce apiece. And the 0-1. Jumps away from a fastball inside, does Martinez, and the count 1-1.
Well, every now and then he throws that good either cutter, which is like a slider, or a curveball down and away from the lefty hitter. So basically, Leiter is trying to keep the ball in and not let them extend the arms.
One. Check swing on a cutter outside. Leiter says check with the third base ump. They check with him. And Charlie Relaford said no, and the count 2-1. Crowd got very quiet here at Shea, at least the Met fans at Shea, when Jeter's ball sailed either into the Yankee bullpen or over the wall behind the Yankee bullpen. And the 2-1. Low and away, 3-1.
Well, Leiter certainly doesn't want to walk Tino, even though there's a lefty hitter in back of him, O'Neill. Then a base hit means a run. So, Mike, this time, I think that this is a damage pitch. I think Tino will see a strike.
Let's see if they send Bernie. They don't. The 3-1 is taken for a strike. Good pitch on the outside corner. Good fastball, 3-2. Now Bernie Williams talks with Lee Mazzillion. Bernie will be going. And the crowd here at Shea Stadium rises to its feet. Bernie goes. The pitch is swung on and grounded sharply to short. Fielded there by Abbott. He fires to Zeal. They get Martinez, and that does it for the Yankees in the 6th. But they tie the game on Derek Jeter's home run. They leave one, and at the end of 5.5, Yankees 2, Mets 2. Here's Bubba Trammell to lead it off. He is 1 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Starting in right field in place of Timo Perez. And the pitch. Cutter inside, 1-0. Trammell now is 9 for 20 lifetime against Pettit, and 1 of the 9 hits a home run. The 1-0, swung on and grounded left side. Backhanded by Jeter, sets, fires, pulls Tino off the bag, and he tags the sliding Trammell for the first out of the inning. Tino came off the bag. Trammell went down head first slide into first, but Tino's sweep tag got him, and Trammell does not argue, 1 away.
Well, Jeter got the ball in the backhand and threw a little wide, but Tino got the tag down on Trammell's leg as he was going by.
Here's Jay Payton. Payton's 1 for 2. Single to right and scored in the second, then reached on a 4-6 force in the 4th. Yankees 2, Mets 2. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning at Shea. Game 5 of the World Series. Yankees lead 3-1. And the pitch. Breaking ball is inside. And goes off the glove of Posada, rolls behind him. He scrambles after it and keeps it in play. The count 1-0. 2-4-1 Yankees, 2-5-0 for the Mets. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on and grounded to deep third. Off the glove of Broshin, rolls behind him. And we'll see how they score it as Payton reaches. I think that hit a patch of dirt, maybe a clump, and kicked back on Brosius. He couldn't field the ball, so Payton is on. There was a hot ground ball at third, and Brosius was right there, but it kicked behind him. He was moving to his right, and it kicked left.
Another terrible hop. That ball was hit by Payton, but Brosius was right there. I guess when it came off the lip, I'm just guessing, that's what caused the ball to kangaroo high in the air and kind of veer off course. Brosius got the glove up but only could knock it down. So bad hop single.
I think they gave him a hit. The pitch to Abbott. Swung on a missed. 0-1.
Oh, I would give him a hit. Mike, he was there. That was an awful hop.
Well, that's what they did. Gave him a hit.
Yeah, he would have made. Brosius had the play lined up.
Abbott looks down at the third base coach, Cookie Rojas. Mets first base coach is Mookie Wilson. The 0-1 is Nub foul in front of the plate, then rolls behind the plate to the backstop, 0-2. You know, Pettit looks at least like he's going to give the Yankees 6 innings. So what that does, John, is it gets them to the danger point of having to use Gooden or Grimsley or Cone. And because they pitched last night, I think Nelson, Stanton, and Rivera really are one-inning pitchers tonight. So he's got them what they need, at least that way.
Absolutely. I think he'll go more, but I see your point. If he gets Abbott, he'll get out of this inning.
And the 0-2. Check swing, foul back to the screen. And the count still 0-2. Two 4-1 for the Yankees, 2-6-0 for the Mets. Again, a crowd of over 55,000 at Shea. The 5th straight sellout here in the World Series. And if there's a Game 6 and a Game 7, those are sold out as well. And the 0-2, outside, 1-2. although it is a very quiet crowd. You can hear people trying to get a "Let's Go Mets" chant going, but they seem to be sitting on their hands waiting for something to happen rather than trying to get something to happen. Payton with good speed leads off first, held there by Martinez. Abbott, a right-handed hitter, in the lineup in place of Bordick. And the 1-2. Swung on and grounded foul outside of third between Brocious and Rojas. It's still 1-2. Payton walks back to first base, all the time staring over his right shoulder, looking at Rojas. Abbott's in the lineup because Bordick is 4 for 33 in the postseason. That's 121, and he did not drive in a run. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year. And the 1-2. Swung on and grounded slowly, third base side, but foul. And it's still 1-2.
Boy, is Pettit ever getting ground balls? Andy has struck out 3, and every other out has been a ground ball, but for the fly ball by Ventura that ended last inning.
He is really having prolonged battles with Abbott. Abbott kept fouling off pitches in the 4th inning, and eventually Pettit walked him. And then Abbott got picked off. And the 1-2. Swung on, line drive, base hit to center field. Payton round second. He'll stop right there. Bernie Williams fields and flips the ball into Jeter. So, a 1-out single for Abbott, putting runners on first and second. And here's Al Leiter, obviously in a bunting situation with 1 out.
Well, this is where we were, Mike, in the 4th inning. And before Leiter could see a pitch, Abbott got picked off. I guarantee Abbott will not be picked off this time. Mookie Wilson is talking to him, and I'm sure Abbott will stay very close to first base.
And Tino will also back up again. This time, Abbott will be aware of it. Abbott's no stranger to the World Series. He was on the Marlins 1997 championship team. Tino is not playing for a bunt at first, so I guess they think Leiter will bunt down the third base line. Now Tino charges. And the pitch that Leiter is bunted at a miss. Snap throw to second. Not in time. The throw received by Jeter, and Payton just got back.
Well, when you're leading off second base, you want to get as good a jump as possible to get to third. And so when Leiter missed it, Posada fired. Jeter was there waiting for it, and he just got back. He got back, but just.
Now Leiter talking with McClelland. I guess Leiter was saying, I didn't bunt at that ball. I pulled it back. But McClelland, the home plate umpire, said, yes, you did. So the count 0-1. Leiter up in the box, spread stance. Squares the bunt. Here come the corners and the pitch. Bunted at right to Tino Martinez. Nobody's at third, though. So he has to fire to Vizcaíno to get Leiter. So the sacrifice successful, 3-4. If there had been a fielder at third, well, Payton was out by plenty, but with Brocious charging alongside Martinez, he had nowhere to go but go to first.
Now, Brocious couldn't anchor. The Yankees don't put the rotation play on. They don't use that. So even though Leiter bunted it hard on 1 hop to Tino, he had an easy play at third, but there was no one at third. Jeter was trying to hold the runner close. He wasn't going to third. Well, here's a situation where Pettit has 2 right-hand hitters, Agbayani, who has an infield single, ground ball out, infield single, strikeout, and Alfonso 0 for 3. But I think you have to go after Agbayani. Eventually, Alfonso, who's a better hitter, is going to get a base hit.
Posada spreads his wings with his palms down to the ground, telling the infielders, knock the ball down. Second and third. Agbayani's 1 for 3. And the pitch. Cutter low and inside, 1-0. Yankees and the Mets are tied at 2. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Payton on third. Abbott is on second. Agbayani has been huge for the Mets. The 1-0. Low, 2-0. In the World Series, he struggled. Not awfully, though. He's 5 for 17. And he's hitting .313 in the postseason with 2 ribbies. Yankees play him straight away, infield and outfield. And the 2-0. There's a strike. Cutter inside corner. Agbayani lifted his hand straight up in the air, trying to sell McClellan that the ball was inside, but he wasn't buying, so the count 2-1.
Pettit has the ability to miss, trying to be ultra fine. And when he wants to throw a strike, he can throw a pretty good strike, and he did there.
Edgardo Alfonzo on deck. And the 2-1. Check swing fouled off over the Met dugout, first base side, so the count levels at 2-2.
Yankees got a break, huh? Because that ball was way in. Agbayani tried to check the swing, and the ball struck his bat. So Pettit at 2-2 has a chance to make the nastiest pitch he can make for a strike.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Runners on second and third. Game tied 2-2. Deuce is wild. Brosius is deep at third, about 8 feet off the line. Payton dancing down the third baseline, and now Pettit steps off the rubber. Pettit's back, of course, is to Payton, but he could sense movement back there. Agbayani deep in the box. Doesn't crowd the plate. And the 2-2. Swung on and grounded to short. Jeter's there. He charges, fields, fires, got him, and Pettit works out of trouble. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left at the end of 6 full. Yankees 2, Mets 2.
New York Yankees baseball brought to you in part by Blimpie, the big one, big sub, big taste, big value. Now that both starters, Mike, have gotten to the 7th, now you can see these bullpens start to get ready. If the starters have trouble, it'll be Leiter to O'Neill, top of the 7th, tied at 2.
O'Neill's 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded to short. 2-4-0 Yanks. And the pitch to O'Neill is outside, 1-0. 2-4-1 Yanks, 2-7-0 Mets. No one warming yet in either bullpen. Abbott shades O'Neill up the middle. Payton shades him to left center field. So they plan to pull in the infield, the other way in the outfield. And the 1-0. Swung on and missed on it. Breaking ball diving down and away. The count 1-1. A weak hack by O'Neill.
Mike, so far, of course, this is a tribute to Leiter, but Joe putting his lefty hitters back-to-back have not worked. They are 0-4-5, Tino and O'Neill. Of course, Justice is 0 for 3, too, batting third. But as I say, you got to credit Leiter. He's a terrific pitcher.
1-1 to O'Neill. There's a fastball inside, 2-1. Well, every victory the Yankees have had in the World Series has been a 1-run victory, so this is certainly continuing along those lines. 4-3 game 1, 6-5 game 2, and 3-2 in game 4. And the 2-1 to O'Neill. Cutter is outside, 3-1.
And Mike, the Met win, although it was a 2-run game, it was a 1-run game till 1 out in the 8th when Bubba Trammell hit a sac fly. So let's face it, these games are all close, and if it goes 6 or 7, they'll be close.
O'Neill has hit home runs to left field here at Shea Stadium. Likes hitting in this yard. Here's the 3-1. And the pitch is low and away. A check swing by O'Neill. He works out a leadoff walk here to start the 7th.
Well, the Yankees, first of all, don't bunt ever.
16 sack bunts all year.
Secondly, Posada, I don't think I've ever seen Posada bunt. And And O'Neill doesn't run all that well anyway, so you're not going to bunt. But there's one other reason you don't bunt. You don't want to take Andy out of the game. And after Posada is Brocious. So if Posada bunted and O'Neill was at second, well, they'd walk Brocious, and you can't take Andy out. So Posada will be a cutting and a slashing.
They're starting to move around in the Yankee bullpen in left field. And the pitch to Posada is a cutter inside 1-0. Leiter pounds his glove before he gets a return throw.
If I had to guess, I'd guess that Jeff Nelson is throwing.
It is Jeff Nelson. O'Neill leads off first. The 1-0. Swung on and drilled to left field. Backing up is Agbayani. He has room, and he puts it away. Tagging is O'Neill, but the throw comes into second. O'Neill goes back to first. That one was off the end of the bat. Looked like he got it there for a moment, but Agbayani was right there, one away.
Yeah, he didn't hit it on the sweet spot. Okay, Mike, let's manage. Brocious singles. You have 2 on, 1 out. What do you do?
I send up Knoblauch.
Whoa, and you take Andy Pettitte out of the game?
Yep. Want to get your run, don't you?
Yes. I'm just asking. I think that's why Nelson is up. I think it's exactly right.
I will not pinch hit for Pettitte with Canseco or Hill, though. It's got to be Knoblauch. And the pitch to Brocious is a fastball strike outside corner, 0-1.
So I would gather, I would do this too, that if Brocious makes out, 2 outs, a runner at first, I'd send up Andy.
Brocious is 0 for 2, popped to first and grounded to first. O'Neill leads off first, and the pitch. Low and away, 1-1.
Now, let me amend that, and I'll tell you why. In the Mets' 7th, you have their 3 best right-hand hitters coming up. Alfonso, Piazza, and Zeal. And you know what? You may want Nelson to pitch to those 3.
Throw to first, O'Neill's back standing. While the Yankees looking for their 26th world title, and the Mets are not going to give it to them easily here in Game 5 at Shea Stadium. Yankees lead 3-1. Top of the 7th, 2-2 game. And the 1-1. Swung on and blooped to right center field. Coming on Trammell. On the run, he puts it away for the second out of the inning. And it looks like they're going to let Pettitte hit. So I guess if there was a runner in scoring position, they would have pinch hit for Pettitte. But this way, Joe said, well, what's the likelihood anyway? Hill and Canseco have been zeros at the plate, and if I send up Knoblauch, he's just a singles hitter anyway.
Well, Mike, I agree with everything, and so they feel that Andy has enough stuff to get out those tough right-hand hitters, and they are tough.
Pettitte's 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded to second. Outfield shallow and left, and Pettitte runs up the bunt and bunts foul on the line back to the screen. The count 0-1. Trying a little lighter.
Out of the lighter songbook.
Trammell plays the deepest of the outfielders. Agbayani the most shallow. And Payton is shallow in center, although he plays in shallow center for everybody. Now Ventura shades toward the third base line as if Pettitte is a right-handed pull hitter. The 0-1, again he runs up the bunt. Did he bunt? No, he did not, said third base umpire Charlie Relaford. And the count levels at 1-1, and Pettitte's thinking what Leiter thought. Let me put the ball in play. Let them handle the baseball, and let's see if they throw it away. Pettitte looks down at Randolph, but there's really no sign to give right here. Pettitte stands straight up and down, left-handed hitter. Does not look very comfortable in the batter's box. Throw to first, and O'Neill is back. It's tough to ask a guy to hit in the World Series when they didn't hit in high school. They didn't hit in the minors. They haven't hit all year, but that's what they do here in the World Series in the National League Park. The 1-1. There's a strike. Cutter outside corner, 1-2. That time Pettitte did not try to bunt. Crowd stands up. Many in the crowd. And the 1-2. Swung on and chopped to first. Fielded there by Zeile. He'll take it himself. And he steps on the bag with the right foot. And Pettitte makes it to within 20 feet of the bag and then turns and heads back to the Yankee dugout. So, in the 7th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left at the end of 6.5. Get up and stretch. Yankees 2, Mets 2.
The 7th inning stretch was brought to you by OTB. At New York City OTB, we've got your number to open a telephone betting account. Call 1-800-OTB-8118. Well, here we go. Bottom of the 7th against Pettitte. The Mets' 3 best right-hand hitters coming up.
He's thrown 105 pitches. Here's 106. The pitch is high. Fastball 1-0 to Alfonso. Alfonso's 0 for 3. And like Bernie Williams was due, Alfonso is due. Alfonso against the Yankees in the series, 2 for 19. And the 1-0 from Pettitte. A fastball strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Pettitte hands over the head, kicks, delivers the 1-1. Cutter low, scooped up, and then caught out of the air by Posada. They throw that ball out of play, give Pettitte a new one. So the count 2-1. 2-2 Yankees in the Mets, bottom of the 7th inning. Defense straight away. Brocious close to the line at third. And the 2-1 to Alfonso. Swung on and grounded foul outside of third. Hits up against the stands. And rolls down the left field line. So the count levels at 2-2. Two 4-1 Yanks, 2 7-0 Mets. The left-hander Pettitte deals the 2-2 to Alfonso. Swung on a hit sharply through the left side for a base hit. Alfonso starts the 7th with a single. Justice fields and flips in on one hop to Vizcaino. And Alfonso slaps his hands together at first.
Well, Mets and Yankee fans can follow their team's pursuit of glory for extensive highlights, interviews, and expert analysis. Tune to the Jeep Subway Series post-game report immediately following the World Series game tonight on MSG Network and Fox Sports Net.
Here's Piazza. He is 2 for 3, singled, grounded to third, and then doubled to left center. Game is tied at 2, and the pitch is a cutter low and inside, 1-0.
Well, that's a big hit for Alfonso. First of all, it gets him going. And secondly, he is the go-ahead run, and here is as good a hitter as there is, Mike Piazza, and you have to pitch to him with another good hitter, Todd Zeile, on deck. The Yankee bullpen is busy. We can't see, but you can bet Nelson and Stanton are both up.
And the 1-0. Swung and a miss. Cutter right in on the hands. And the count 1-1. Piazza with his 2 for 3 tonight is 6 for 20 in the World Series. That's 300. 2 homers and 4 runs batted in. Alfonso leads off first, held by Martinez. Nobody out, bottom of the 7th, game tied at 2. And the 1-1. Swung on and fouled straight back here. And the count now 1-2 again. Nelson and Stanton are the ones warming in the Yankee bullpen. There's nobody up in the Met bullpen. Leiter's done a great job. 2 mistakes, a home run to Bernie and a home run to Derek Jeter. Yankees looking for the double play off the bat of Piazza. You can double him up. He hits the ball sharply, and he is a catcher. Although he's not slow, he doesn't run very well. And the 1-2. Swung on line drive, foul down the left field line. Foul by about a yard. He got around quickly on a pitch, but a little too quickly. Pettitte tried to get the cutter in, kept it up, and didn't get it all the way in. (2-2) Yankees and the Mets, Game 5, the best of 7 World Series. World Series 2000, Subway Series. First one since 1956, and all the games really have been outstanding ball games. Pettit sets at the belt, and the 1-2. Foul back to the screen, still 1-2. He is staying in Piazza's kitchen.
Pettit challenging Piazza up and in, up and in. And as long as you keep it all the way up and in, and you got a chance anyway, because you can't extend the arms. If you miss, if the ball doesn't get all the way in, boom.
Alfonso, small lead at first, but Pettit goes over there, and Alfonso's back. Piazza, big, strong, right-handed batter. 38 home runs in the regular season. And the pitch. Just missed outside. Boy, did Pettit want that. The count levels at 2-2. Piazza with 4 home runs in the postseason.
Well, Pettit went away, and, you know, Piazza was fooled. He had to take the pitch, and apparently it just missed, as Pettit and Posada went away from Piazza for the first time.
And the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and driven out to center field. Coming on, Bernie Williams on the run. Makes the play in right center. Alfonso goes halfway, then heads back to first. And Bernie flips the throw into Vizcaino.
Now, Mikey hit him off the fist. Piazza didn't extend the arm, so he hit kind of a soft fly to right center field, which tells you that Pettit still has plenty left. Now here is Zeile, who grounded out, struck out, and then was intentionally walked after Piazza's 2-out double in the 5th. The Yankees went after Ventura and got him on a fly ball to left.
Well, Posada goes out and talks with Pettit. Pettit can empty the tank, as they like to say, because he is not starting another game the rest of the year. Obviously, if there's a Game 7, they would ask him, or might ask him, to pitch in relief. But this is probably it for Pettit. Zeile is 0 for 2 with the intentional walk. Grounded to short, struck out looking. Throw to first, and Edgardo Alfonso is back. If they take out Pettit, there's no need for double switch. He was the last batter up. They would just bring in the pitcher. And the pitch to Zeile. Swung on and foul tip behind the plate, rolls all the way to the backstop. The count 0-1.
And Pettit is now at 118. I guess if he gets out of this inning, he might pitch another inning. He might not, too, because now, if he gets out of this inning, Mike, without a run, he's given the Yankees 7 innings, and you have 3 guys, Nelson, Stanton, and Rivera, to give you 8 and 9.
And the 0-1 to Zeile. Cutter inside. Nice block there by Posada, shifting to his left. And the count levels at 1-1. Zeile has 3 home runs against Pettit. And coming into the game, he was 12 for 35 against Andy. That's .343. 2-4-1 for the Yankees, 2-8-0 for the Mets as we're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Runner on first base, 1 out. Alfonso led off with a single. Piazza flied out to Bernie Williams in right center. And the 1-1 is a 2-seam fastball away. The count 2-1. Pettit gets the sign and the 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball, strike on the outside corner. He went backdoor on Zeile and evens up the count. That is not what Zeile was expecting. He was expecting something hard, and Pettit floated a beautiful curveball on the outside corner. Alfonso taking a very short lead at first. He does not want to be picked off by Pettit. And Pettit goes over to first, and Alfonso takes 1 step. He's back on the bag. Brocious is deep at third, and I'd say 6 to 7 feet off the line, 8 at the most. And the 2-2 to Zeal. Fastball up and away, 3-2. Ventura's on deck.
Well, now Bobby Valentine has a decision. Do you run Alfonso 3-2? And do the Yankees cover? The Yankees don't have to cover because you may want him to stay home. Zeal puts the ball in play. I think he'll be gone.
He stays. The 3-2 is swung on a miss. He got him on a slow breaking ball. How about that pitch by Pettit? And Zeal way out in front, 2 away.
Well, that is some pitch. That's pulling the string on a curveball. And that was 2 out of the 3 last pitches were backdoor breaking balls, and Zeal swung at a pitch that was down and away. Boy, that's some pitching by Pettit. And I guess Valentine figures Alfonso's not going to get any lead at all. I don't want to get him thrown out.
Here's Ventura 0 for 3, and the pitch is swung on a miss. Pettit keeps the pitch low and inside. That was a 2-seam fastball, and the count 0-1. Ventura has struck out, grounded to second, and flied to left. Yankees and the Mets are tied at 2, bottom of the 7th inning. And the 0-1. Breaking ball is inside. Ventura shrugs out of the way, and the count levels at 1-1. Bubba Trammell on deck. The tension builds for the Mets. The Yankees have room to breathe. And the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball low and away, 2-1. By working each batter so diligently in this inning, Pettit will probably not pitch the 8th. He'll be up in the high 120s, maybe even hit the 130 mark. And the 2-1. Breaking ball is inside, 3-1. He's thrown a lot of curveballs in this inning. That is usually not his best pitch.
And this gives the Mets a chance. If Pettit walks Ventura, they have a right-hand hitter, Bubba Trammell, up. You might see Nelson. Of course, the Mets probably go with the left-hand hitter.
And the 3-1. Swung on and drilled down the right field line, but foul into the seats. And it's just a long strike, so it's 3-2.
Well, that's one advantage for the Mets now that Alfonso will be off without question. With 2 outs, he is off on the pitch, and so if Ventura happens to line a double somewhere, Fonzie will probably score.
Tino backs up, covering the line, and the 3-2. Swung on a miss, he struck him out. A cutter diving down and away, and Pettit punches his left fist into the air. What a pitching performance by Andy Pettit, and the leadoff single by Alfonso is wasted. No runs a hit, and 1 man left at the end of 7 full. We have got a dandy. Yankees 2, the Mets 2.
All right, Michael, another beauty. We're tied at 2. Leiter has been great. He's made 2 mistakes. Solo shots to Bernie and Derek Jeter. Here's Knobloch. And the pitch low and the count 1-0. Vizcaino was 0 for 3. I would doubt that Knobloch will do anything more than pinch hit. I don't think you put him in the field in a tie game in the 8th inning. So undoubtedly Soho will go in to play second base. It'll be a 1-0. Way inside, the count 2-0 on Knobloch. Jeter and Justice on deck. There is no warm-up activity yet anyway in the Mets bullpen. 2-4-1 Yanks, and boy, the one was a biggie. 2-8-0 Mets. Now the 2-0 is a fast strike on the inside, the count 2-1. Bernie Williams homered in the 2nd inning. Man, Jeter homered in the 6th. Those are the 2 Yankee runs. And there's the 2-1. It's inside, a cutter, and the count 3-1. Well, Knobloch, a great leadoff man and very good base runner. And boy, would the Yankees like to get him on base. Derek Jeter waiting on deck. We are tied at 2, top of the 8th. And Leiter's 3-1. Caught on a miss. Good fastball by Leiter in the count 3-2. Well, the count goes full. Leiter gets the support of Met fans who are standing and clapping. Knobloch's out of the batter's box. And here's the payoff. Swung on and fouled away, first base side. For those late tuners in the second inning after Ventura struck out, Trammell walked, Payton singled, Abbott hit a slow grounder to short. Jeter's only play at first. So 2 out, second and third, and Leiter surprised everyone by drag bunting, making Tino, the first baseman, field the ball wide at first. And here's the 3-2 to Knobloch. Swung on, a high pop, a mile high behind the plate. Piazza throws the mask away and makes the catch. And there's one away. So Leiter comes back from 3-1 and gets Knobloch to pop behind the plate. Well, Tino fielded the ball. He did juggle it out of the mitt, and he flipped it to Pettit on a race with Leiter to the bag. Pettit got there, and he caught it and dropped it for an error, and a run scored. So that was 1 run. And then Agbayani hit a little trickling ground ball to third. Brocious couldn't make the play, and that was the other run. That's how great Pettit has pitched. If Pettit had caught that ball, the Yankees would have a 2-0 lead here in the 8th inning.
John, I watched a replay on that one. Piazza fought that ball right into his mitt, and if he didn't catch it with 2 hands, he would not have caught it because he actually got more of the pop-up with the bare hand, guiding it into the glove than he did with the glove.
Well, here's Jeter, who homered his last time. He's 1 for 3. And Leiter deals low outside, the count 1-0. That was Leiter's 107th pitch.
Boy, times have changed. He used to throw so many more pitches.
In the first 5 innings. It'll be a 1-0. It's inside the count, 2-0. There is some movement in the Mets bullpen. No one's warming yet. I'm amazed that no one's warming. I mean, their season's on the line. Leiter's been great, but anyone can get tired. Here's the 2-0. Swung on and foul, first base side out of play.
Now Franco gets up. Hey, John, the last game that Al Leiter ever pitched for the Yankees, it was a complete game against the Twins in the rain. It was in 1989, and he threw 166 pitches, and he was traded on April 29th for Jesse Barfield to the Blue Jays.
Well, that was my first year, and Dallas Green wouldn't take him out of the game. He wanted him to finish what he started, but that was an adventure. It was a freezing night, a Friday night, cold and rainy, and Steve Balboni hit a grand slam to win the game for the Yanks. The 2-1 is cut on and missed, and the count 2-2. That was a cutter all the way in, and Jeter had a very awkward swing. Mike, I don't really care if the rest of America is watching or not. I feel sorry for them. That if they're not watching, they're missing great baseball. These games are fabulous, one after the other. It'll be a 2-2 to Jeter with 1 out, no one on. The pitch is foul back. The count holds at 2-2.
Well, they've been great. They really have, and you wonder why the rest of the country's not watching. I mean, is there that much of a prejudice against New York? Makes me laugh. These guys just have New York across the chest. They live all over the country. Baseball is baseball.
Yeah, and they're from, as you say, all over the country. Jeter from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Leiter is from the Jersey Shore. Piazza's from Norristown, Pennsylvania. It'll be a 2-2 to Jeter. It's low, a cutter, and the count 3-2, maybe a little inside.
Stanton gets up for the Yankees now in their bullpen. So it's Stanton and Franco, 2 left-handers.
Franco's from Brooklyn. Staten Island, I guess.
Well, he's from Brooklyn. He lives in Staten Island. You're right.
Stanton is from Texas. That'll be a 3-2 to Jeter. 1 out, no one on, top of the 8th. And Leiter deals. He struck him out swinging. So there are 2 away. And that'll bring up a left-hand hitter, Derek Jeter.
Leiter has nasty stuff. He has electric stuff tonight. And he made just 2 mistakes, and the Yankees made him pay for it. And Pettit really made 1 mistake, and it wasn't a pitching mistake. It was covering first base, dropping a little toss from Tino Martinez. So both pitchers have been as advertised.
They really have. You know, we said on that long pregame program of ours that you figure Leiter and Pettit will pitch great. You know what? They pitch great. I mean, outstanding. Justice takes low. And, you know, it's a little different pitching in this game, you know, than pitching July 23rd against the Pirates or the Twins. This is the 5th game of the World Series, and the game is tied at 2 here in the 8th inning. 2 outs, no one on. Justice is 0 for 3. Now Leiter deals, cut on and grounded toward the middle. Abbott fields behind the bag, off his glove. It'll be a base hit for Justice. I doubt whether Abbott, even if he fielded it, would have thrown him out. A slow ground ball up the middle. So there is the go-ahead run, but with 2 outs, and here is Bernie, who has homered, singled, and walked.
For Justice, that's just his 3rd base hit in 5 games. And here comes Dave Wallace. Is it possible that they would bring in Franco? Now, if Bernie has a weakness, John, from the right side, it's hitting the changeup, as Dennis Cook proved the other night. And Franco is very good at turning the ball over and taking something off, but I'd be shocked if they took out Leiter. Ken, you can't tell. Usually other teams, when the pitching coach comes out, that's it. They're just talking, and the manager makes the move. But here, Dave Wallace makes the pitching changes by order of Valentine. And that's it. He's going to leave him in. He heads back to the first base dugout.
Well, Mike, I know we would leave him in. In this inning, Knobloch popped up, and he came back from 3-1. Jeter on 3-2 struck out swinging, and that was a weak ground ball. The ground ball just happened to be in the middle of the diamond, and so it was a base hit.
And now you've got Bernie, who Leiter has been unable to get out all night. The home run on the 3-2 pitch to left, the single through the left side in the 4th, and then the walk in the 6th.
David Justice, the go-ahead run at first, but there are 2 outs. And here's Bernie batting from the right side. And Leiter deals inside and low in the count 1-0. Left-hand hitters on deck, Tino Martinez. Bernie's home run was a long drive deep down the left field line. His single was lined to left, and then Leiter flat out pitched around him his last time up and walked him. The 1-0. There's a strike on the count 1-1. Leiter bouncing around the mound. He knows what he's doing. He's very pumped up. He's very in control. He doesn't look it, though. His head is bobbing. He's moving his body. He is a terrific competitor. There'll be a 1-1 to Bernie. And the pitch is inside in the count 2-1.
Well, that's what he said. He said, I look like I'm out of control. He said, but I'm focused on everything I have to do. He said, just because I have some histrionics when I'm out there on the mound doesn't mean that I don't know what's happening. He said, I know everything that's happening. I am tunneled. He said, I just like to express my emotion rather than internalize it.
The outfield plays extra deep to cut off the extra base hit. But every team does that in a tie ball game. Late innings, and it's a tie ball game. Late innings, tied at 2 in the 8th. Bernie is out of the batter's box. Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire, held up play. I don't know why, but he did. Now a throw to first base. Justice is on the bag. Bernie taking practice swings outside the right-hand hitter's batter's box. The outfield is ultra deep. Now the stretch by Leiter. It'll be a 2-1. Cut on a miss in the count 2-2.
And now everybody at Shea Stadium gets up.
Leiter is at the belt. Here's the 2-2. He struck him out swinging. Leiter gets his 7th strikeout and has an overpowering inning No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. At the end of 7.5, we're tied at 2. Right-hand hitting Bubba Trammell is in. There are a couple of reasons why the Yankees went to the lefty. Trammell has walked, singled, and grounded out, all against Andy Pettitte. We're tied at 2, bottom of the 8th, and Stanton deals. Breaking ball is low, and the count 1-0. Well, Andy Pettitte goes 7 innings, 2 runs, both unearned, 8 hits, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. If Pettitte had handled Tino's toss on a bunt by Leiter in the 2nd inning, the Yankees would have a 2-0 lead and be 6 outs away, but that is not the case. It'll be a 1-0 to Bubba Trammell, and the pitch is grounded foul off third, in fact, toward the Yankee dugout. The count 1-1. Well, here are a couple of reasons I have, Mike, and you can add your own reasons. If they brought in Nelson, he wouldn't have right-hand hitters to pitch to. They would bring up their lefties anyway. This way, it saves Nelson. Let's say it's a tie game. It saves Nelson for the righty hitters they want him to face: Agbayani, Alfonso, and Piazza, and Zeal.
And this part of the order has been the tough part of the order, at least for Pettitte it was.
It'll be a 1-1. Swung on and popped up foul. First base side out of play. The count 1-2. So let's say Stanton will get these 4 batters: Trammell, Payton, Abbott, and whoever hits for Leiter. And if he gets a side out in the 9th inning, then you probably will see Nelson against the great right-hand hitters.
Since 1997, Stanton against the Mets, 11 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 13 strikeouts. He is not allowed to run.
There's the 1-2. Hit on the ground, wide of third, gobbled up by Brocious. Throws off balance, in time, 1 away. Nice play by Brocious, going to the glove side.
Center fielder, number 44.
Brocious really had a range far to his left, but the ball wasn't hit sharply enough to get through, so it gave Brocious plenty of time to move to his left. He snared it in the webbing of his glove and then fired strike to Tino, and he had to put some giddy up on it because Trammell was hustling down the line. They just got him.
Jay Payton, a right-hand hitter with power, stands in. He's 2 for 3. He singled to right, hit into a force play, and then hit a hot ground ball at Brocious that took a bad hop off his glove. Now Stanton deals. It's inside 1-0. That was a fastball. Well, if you're wondering, and I am, will it be Franco in the 9th against the lefty hitters? Will it be Benitez? It'll be Leiter. There's no one warming up. If there's someone warming up, I can't see him. It'll be a 1-0. Payton cuts and misses. Had a sinker away from Stanton, and the count 1-1.
Stanton has all the pitches. Changeup, breaking ball, fastball, 2-seam fastball, 4-seam. He has it all.
And a splitter every now and then. But it's all set up by fastball, and Stanton throws very hard. He throws in the low 90s. It'll be a 1-1. Foul back to the screen, and the count 1-2. If you're wondering, well, why did the Yankees put Soho 9th and the pitcher spot first? When you bring 2 players in at the same time, you can bat them in the 2 spots that are open.
Mike Stanton has the best ERA in the World Series among relief pitchers. All time, 1.08. Johnny Murphy second, 1.10. Clay Carroll, 1.33. Raleigh Fingers, 1.35. Mariano Rivera, 1.37. Mariano's went up with that 3-run ninth inning in game 2.
It'll be a 1-2 to Payton. Just missed outside the count, 2-2. Well, this way it gives the Yankees one more batter with Soho before they have to hit for the pitcher. So that's probably the reason that Joe did it that way. That'll be a 2-2 from Stanton to Payton. They're in the bottom of the 8th. Another terrific game between these two teams who are about as evenly matched as you can find. Now the 2-2. He struck him out swinging. So Stanton gets Trammell on a soft ground ball, Payton on a swinging strikeout, and here's the shortstop, Kurt Abbott.
John, that was either that splitter or a change. I think it was a splitter. It really went down and actually was scooped up by Posada, and he had to tag Payton to complete the out, so he gets the put out. A nice pitch by Stanton.
Now two-way, and here is the right-hand hitting shortstop, and here comes Billy Connors. And Connors has gone out to talk. Maybe Stanton has never seen Abbott, and Abbott, although he strikes out a lot, can hit the ball out. So they talk on the mound how to pitch to Kurt Abbott.
Hit .217 in the regular season, 6 homers and 12 ribbies. Stanton has faced him 4 times, and Abbott is hitless in those 4 times. Yankee bullpen in the postseason since '96, John, 13-3, 2.30 ERA, 26 saves and 27 opportunities. And the Yankee record when leading after 6 is 30-1. When trailing after 6 is 13-12, which I find even more extraordinary.
Yes, the trailing after 6, that is an amazing record. Well, two-way, here's Abbott. And Stanton deals and misses outside, 1-0. And Al Leiter is on deck. Mike, why is no one warming up in the Mets bullpen? What happens if Abbott hits a triple or double?
Then they stall.
It'll be a 1-0. Pitch caught on a miss, and the count 1-1. I told you that Abbott, who has power, had 157 at-bats with the Mets this year, and he struck out 51 times, so almost exactly 1/3 of the time. That's a lot of strikeouts for a middle infielder. And it'll be a 1-1. Caught on a miss, overpowered him with a fastball, the count 1-2. I mean, it might be acceptable for a guy who hits 40 home runs, but not a middle infielder.
If it was Alex Rodriguez, you'd accept it.
Yeah, but he's too good a hitter to do that. That'll be a 1-2 to Abbott. Boy, are these great baseball games, one after the other. We're tied at 2, bottom of the 8th. Game 5. Yankees can win the championship. Mets can force a game 6. 2 outs, no one on. Here's the 1-2. Just missed outside with a fastball. The count 2-2. If you look ahead to the 9th inning, the Mets will want a left-hander because the first 2 hitters are left-hand hitters and good ones. Tino Martinez and Paul O'Neill. Then the switch hitter, Jorge Posada. Stanton is set at the belt, and the 2-2 is swung on, hit in the air to right. O'Neill took a step back, now a step in, makes the catch. And Stanton has a 1-2-3. We go to the 9th, and the game is tied at 2.
Well, we go to the 9th inning. It's now a 1-inning game. Could be a 1-inning season for the Mets. And the Mets send in Timo Perez to play right field, tighten up the defense. Bubba Trammell, not that great a right fielder, so Perez comes in. Leiter's still in there. He will face Tino Martinez, Paul O'Neill, and Jorge Posada at least 5, 6, and 7 here in the 9th. 2 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error for the Yanks. 2-8-0 for the Mets.
Well, Al Leiter goes out for the 9th inning. He's been great. 2 runs, 5 hits, and the 2 runs on 2 solo home runs. Bernie hit 1 in the 2nd, and Derek Jeter hit 1 in the 6th. That's it. Here's Tino to lead off. He's 0 for 3. Leiter deals. There's a fat strike on the inside corner. The other 3 hits, a Bernie Williams single in the 4th, a Posada single in the 5th, pitch, foul back, and the count 0-2. And an infield single by Justice in the 8th. And Leiter has walked only 2. He struck out 7. He's been absolutely great. It'll be an 0-2 to Tino, leading off the 9th. The pitch is a half swing and a breaking ball. Did he go? Yes. So there's 1 away as Tino went down swinging on a breaking ball down and away. And here's Paul O'Neill.
Leiter's actually getting better as the game goes along. And just those 2 mistakes, and he must be thinking, come on, score some runs.
Well, the Mets are very fortunate, Mike, that the error occurred at the time that it did, or else they would be thinking, we got to get 2 runs in the 9th. Here's Paul O'Neill. He has struck out, grounded out, and walked. And Leiter deals, swung on, and line deep down the left field line, but tailing foul, and a long foul ball, 0-1. It wasn't home run distance. However, if the ball was fair, probably would have one-hopped the wall, and it definitely would have been a double. Switch hitting Jorge Posada is the on-deck hitter. And O'Neill fouls at third base side out of play, and Leiter jumps out ahead 0-2. He finished off Tino on 3 pitches. Now he's ahead of O'Neill 0-2. O'Neill out of the batter's box, back in. Now Leiter is all set. And it'll be an 0-2. A foul tip to stay alive. The ball in and out of Piazza's glove. So Leiter came within a nonce of getting his 9th strikeout. The last 3 outs have been strikeouts, interrupted by a single by Justice. A very slow ground ball right up the middle. Now, here's Leiter to the 1 and the 0-2. A high pop foul, third base side out of play. If you want to look ahead to the Mets 9th, they will have the pitcher's spot. And you could name the pinch hitter if you knew who was pitching, Nelson or Stanton. And then Agbayani, Alfonso, and if anyone gets on, Mike Piazza. My guess is that Nelson will pitch the 9th inning. Here's the 0-2. He struck him out swinging, breaking ball down and away. So 2 down, and here's Posada.
Number 20, Jorge Posada.
Well, they have no kick coming with Leiter, John.
Oh, boy. What a game, huh? He has been great. Here's Posada. He's 1 for 3. And the pitch high. And the count 1-0.
And he was great in game 1. And the bullpen blew the lead. He turned over a lead to them. And that, if the Mets lose this World Series, John, I think that's the reason why that game.
Indeed. Oh, sure, because look at the swing. In other words, this would be 2-2.
Right.
In games. If. It'll be a 1-0 to Posada. And the pitch is grounded foul, and it hops into the stands over the Yankee dugout. The third baseman, Robin Ventura, doesn't play near the line. He plays on the line, and that's to guard against the double. Now, the first baseman, Zeal, plays off the line. The outfield is deeper than it normally would be. Not all the way back, but they want to cut off the extra base hit. We didn't say this. Timo Perez is playing right field instead of Bubba Trammell. It'll be a 1-1. Posada takes low. Mike mentioned it, okay. So Timo, much better outfielder, is in right. And it'll be a 2-1 to Posada. Posada hit 28 home runs during the regular season. He has tremendous power. And he has even more power from the right side, his natural side, than the left side. That'll be a 2-1. And Leiter deals. Caught on and missed. And the count 2-2. So Leiter, whose last 4 outs have been strikeouts, now is a pitch away from striking out the side in the 9th inning. That's called getting better.
And with 9 strikeouts, John, on the game, he's working with an economy of pitches. I can't think he's much higher than 120.
He can throw anything he wants because he's going to be pinch hit for in the bottom of the 9th. And the 2-2 is grounded foul at home plate. Leiter keeping that ball down. That was a 2-seamer, a sinking fastball down and away, and Posada just got a piece. Posada, if he gets the ball up and away, has the power to hit it out in right center. He has great power. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and line, but foul down the left field line. He hit it hard, but hooking foul into the seats down the line. So the count holds at 2-2. Posada out and now back in again. Here we go. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch is inside and low, 3-2. Scott Brosius waits on deck.
And that's not insignificant. Brosius has a habit of getting big World Series hits. So you lose Posada, you can't just say, okay, it's Brosius' turn. We get him, he's a number 8 batter.
It'll be a 3-2. And Leiter deals. Swung on and line foul hard down the left field line. He yanked the ball past third. Plainly foul, though. Well, the count holds 3-2. Posada was too far out in front. That ball was in, and maybe that's the only place Posada could hit it was foul. But you wonder if Leiter will try to go away from Posada, who may be thinking in.
How dominant has Leiter been? You take away the home runs, he's allowed 1 runner to reach second base. That was Posada in the 5th.
Once again, it'll be a 3-2. Leiter to Posada, and it's inside ball 4. So Posada, who led the Yankees in walks, works out a 2-out walk, and here is Scott Brosius. Now the Mets bullpen will get ready, but no one's ready now. I mean, someone will throw. The on-deck hitter is Luis Sojo. If the Yankees wanted to pinch hit for him, they could, because they have one other second baseman, and that's Clay Bellinger.
Well, it's Franco again that's up. And he could get ready in a hurry. He's already warmed up out there.
Brosius 0 for 3. The pitch is inside 1-0. But you know what, Mike? I think if Brosius extends the inning, walk, single, I think Sojo would hit for himself.
I agree.
The outfield plays deep. They're trying to cut off the double in the gap. Posada the go-ahead run. The 1-0. outside corner strike in the count 1-1.
That's a generous strike. That's a strike that McClellan has not been giving them tonight. That looked like it was up and away from over here. Again, we're on the first base side behind home plate. So we're not directly behind, but it did look as if Piazza reached up and away.
It'll be a 1-1. Posada off first. Leiter deals. Swung on line. There's a base hit left field. Toward the line. Agbayani cuts it off. Posada holds at second. So a 2-out rally by the Yanks. A walk to Posada and a hard line drive single by Brocious. And now here's Sojo. If you wanted a pinch hit, you could pinch hit Canseco or Hill, but they're home run strikeout hitters. Or you would pinch hit the left-hand hitting Polonia. Well, you wouldn't do that against Leiter. So you know what, Mike? It obviously would be Sojo.
This is the guy I want. He's the guy that puts the bat on the ball. All you need to do is get a single. Although coming out of the dugout right now, well, Glenn Allen Hill's coming out of the dugout because he would pinch hit for Stanton, who was batting in the leadoff spot. But Sojo is the type of guy, he'll take a lighter pitch on the outside corner and just punch it into right field. Timo Perez has a somewhat erratic arm. Posada has not run the bases well for the last 2 months. Sometimes he hesitates, even with 2 outs, which doesn't make sense. He's a little gun shy. The Met outfield is in medium range in left and right, and Peyton is shallow in center, and he has to be because he has a terrible arm.
Now Perez comes in a little bit in right. Sojo is a right field hitter.
Leiter's thrown 141 pitches.
Now here he's ready to go to 142. The pitch swung on, hit on a ground ball up the middle. It is a base hit, center field. Posada scores. Going to third is Brocious, and the ball hits the base runner. Here comes Brocious. He will score. On to third goes Sojo. It is a 2-run hit for Luis Sojo, and the Yankees take a 4-2 lead. A ground ball up the middle. Peyton threw home. The ball hit Posada and glanced into the Mets dugout, and scoring in back of him was Brocious. So it's a base hit and RBI. The second run scores on the error by Peyton, and the Yankees take a 4-2 lead. Rivera will get ready, and the Yankees are 3 outs away from winning the World Series.
It was a pretty good throw by Peyton, but the throw hit Posada. It hit him on the left hip, and then it caromed out to the first base dugout, and once it went into the dugout, that allowed Brocious to score. So that's an E8 on Peyton, although no fault of his own, a pretty good throw, but the ball and Posada arrived at the same time. Now Bobby Valentine goes out and talks with McClellan, and he will probably double switch when he takes out Leiter. They announced Glenn Allen Hill, the pinch hit for John Franco, and the Yankees are now 3 outs away from their 26th World Championship. Now Valentine is walking out to the second base umpire, Ed Montague. Montague is the crew chief, and he's walking out there with Tim McClellan. And let's see what they could be talking about. Maybe a Yankee batted out of order. I doubt it. We had that Sojo was batting ninth, and he was just waiting to see. But Valentine, with his hands in his back pockets, talking with Montague, and that's right around second base. McClellan is out there as well. Valentine now has his hands on his hips as he walks toward the first base dugout, and now they stop on the grass to talk even more. The only thing I could think is there's something that Valentine is challenging rules-wise, and I can't even guess what it would be other than maybe somebody batting out of order. He's pointing towards center field, and Montague is pointing toward left field. And now Valentine has his arms crossed in front of him as he talks with Montague. It's not a very heated argument. They're talking calmly. But do you have any idea, John?
No, and the only way they would have batted out of order if Valentine felt he didn't receive word that Sojo was batting ninth. But Mike, we covered that last inning, the reason why Sojo came up. So Posada came home. The throw was made it a lot closer than I thought, but the ball bounced off Posada as he slid. Now Leiter is leaving. He should get a great hand. And then Brocious scored when the ball bounced into the Mets dugout.
Well, Valentine takes the ball from Leiter, who walks with his head down, and he shouldn't, toward the first base dugout. He was brilliant, and they call on Franco. This pitching change is sponsored by Geico. One 15-minute call can save you 15% on car insurance. This is New York Yankees baseball. Hill is 6 for 13 against Franco, and 3 of the 6 home runs. And the Yankees have an important run at third base. That's not a gimme. You want to have a 3-run lead. The Mets are a team that comes back, scratches, and claws.
Mike, is that amazing, though? 2 outs, no one on. Leiter, on top of his game, strikes out Martinez and O'Neill. Posada works out a 3-2 walk. Brocious hits a line drive single, and here's Sojo hitting a ground ball single up the middle. The play was a lot closer than I ever thought. The ball and Posada arrived at the same time. It hit Posada, rolled in the Mets dugout, and scoring all the way from first was Brocious, and going all the way to third is Sojo. Here's Glenn Allen Hill to hit for Stanton, and obviously Rivera pitches the bottom of the ninth, and the Yankees are 3 outs away from another world championship. Franco deals, cut on, and missed, and the count 0-1.
And I think that got a piece of Piazza. He was crumpled over, and he's trying to catch his breath. Let's see where it got him. Got him right against the bottom of the face mask. And then smacked against his knee. And McClellan giving him time, and Piazza nods his head and said, I'm okay.
2 runs in with 2 outs and no one on in the 9th inning. What a rally. Walk, single, throwing error. 2 in, Sojo at third. And here's Glenn Allen Hill. It'll be an 0-1 inside from Franco, and the count 1-1. Leiter was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, but he leaves losing 4-2 in the 9th. We told you who Rivera will face, a pinch hitter for the 9th spot, and then Agbayani and Alfonso, and he'd like to get 3 in a row because the 4th hitter is Mike Piazza. The pitch is low, and the count 2-1. Mike has told you that Hill's had great success against Franco, but if he walks him, he has to face Derek Jeter.
Hill in the postseason just 1 for 16, but he has 2 ribbies.
It'll be a 2-1. Hit on the ground, foul outside of first, off the end of the bat, and the count 2-2. It was a ground ball up the middle that was going through, and Mike, the ball was not hit hard. I'm amazed that Peyton was able to get the ball to home plate and make it so close.
And remember, he doesn't have a great arm, but he did one of those Chad Curtis throws, John, where he launched himself into midair and threw his whole body forward. And it was a pretty good throw. It was right on the money, and it hit Posada sliding in. Ball and runner arrived at the same time, and it hit him at such an angle on the left hip that it went into the Met dugout, and that allowed Brocious to score and Sojo to move the third. So it is an E8.
You give Sojo an RBI. That's all bookkeeping. It'll be a 2-2 to Hill. The pitch is inside, and the count 3-2. Boy, Peyton really plays shallow, doesn't he? I mean, if Glenn Allen Hill has one thing, it's power, and Peyton plays ultra shallow. He's trying to cut off a line drive hit and stop that run. Sojo off third with 2 outs, 2 in. It'll be a 3-2 to Hill. Now Franco is set, and the pitch is swung on and hit in the air to left. Agbayani is back in deep left. He's there and makes the catch, and that'll do it. However, a 2-run rally with 2 outs and 0 on. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 1 left. At the end of 8.5, it's 4-2 Yanks.
And now they're 3 outs away from a three-peat, becoming the first team to do it in over a quarter of a century. The last team, the Oakland Athletics, 72, 73, 74. It would be the Yankees' 4th championship in the last 5 years. And who else should they hand the ball to but the guy who is as responsible for those championships as anyone that wears the interlocking NY on the midnight blue cap, and that is Mariano Rivera. Rivera has to get 3 outs. They'll face 9-1-2. Hamilton will pinch hit for Franco, then Agbayani and Alfonso, and if anybody gets on, it'll be Mike Piazza. So 3 outs away from World Championship number 26. 3 outs away from a three-peat.
Okay, Michael, here's Darrell Hamilton, left-hand hitter against Rivera. It'll be Hamilton, Agbayani, and Alfonso. Rivera trying to close the door. Roches in at third to guard against the bunt. The pitch is a strike. Hamilton, a line drive lefty hitter. And Rivera's 0-1, fouled away third base side out of play, and the count 0-2. The Mets need a base runner. First of all, they're down 2. They get a base runner, and somebody hits one out. They tie it up. Secondly, they need a base runner to get to Piazza. He is the 4th hitter due in the inning. Rivera ready for the 0-2, and the pitch. He struck him out swinging. One away.
Simply overpowered him. And you know what he did there? He didn't come with the cutter. And that's what Hamilton was expecting. He came up and away with a 4-seam fastball, and Hamilton was simply overmatched. Great pitching there by Rivera. You heard Jeff Nelson on the K Corner during the pregame show. He said Rivera simply has one pitch, but now he's going to become a better pitcher because he's starting to move around that one pitch. That's what he did right there, up and away.
And Mike, he can't become too much of a better pitcher.
Yankees will take any improvement, though.
One away. Here's Agbayani. And the fastball is high, 1-0. Benny is 1 for 4 on the night. If the Yankees do win this championship, it'll be pitching, pitching, pitching. Now it's like real estate. Location, location, location. The Yankee pitching has been absolutely brilliant. If you take out the 9th inning of Game 2 and they had a 6-0 lead, their pitching has been just unbelievable. Tonight, the 2 runs, unearned runs in the 2nd inning. There's the 1-0, low 2-0. Agbayani, for a young hitter and a young power hitter, has a pretty good knowledge of the strike zone. And again, a walk is really as good as a hit. The Mets need a base runner. There is the 2-0, high 3-0.
One thing about Rivera, he goes 3-0, and you don't feel like it's a certain walk because you almost feel that he can throw a strike whenever he wants. But with Agbayani, you can't just pour a fastball over the middle because Agbayani can hit one out. He's not going to be swinging on 3-0, though.
It'll be a 3-0, and the pitch is inside, ball 4. Well, that gives the Mets great hope because now you have Agbayani at first. He's the 3rd run, and the tying run is Edgardo Alfonso. And if Fonzie does anything but hit into a double play, then you have Mike Piazza. Fonzie broke the drought last time up with a base hit. He's 1 for 4 on the night. Now Rivera is set, and he deals strike on the outside corner. The count 0-1. The Yankees have a 4-2 lead with 2 2-out runs in the top of the 9th. And if they get 2 more outs, they will win the World Series. It'll be an 0-1 to Alfonso. Rivera deals high. Stealing second is Agbayani. I think they'll call it a DI, defensive indifference, but that takes away the double play.
Mets don't quit, so if you think they're just going to go down meekly, that will not happen.
And look at the hitters they have up. Alfonso, the count of 1-1. Rivera is set. The pitch is foul back. Just missed a fastball, and the count 1-2. If you're scoring, it is defensive indifference. Now Rivera is set. And the 1-2. A high fly to right, not deep. O'Neill comes in. He's there. And he makes the catch, and there's the second out, and Agbayani goes to third. The Yankees could care less about Agbayani. His run means nothing at all. In fact, if he wanted to steal home now, they would let him. They don't care about Agbayani. It comes down to Piazza. And Mike, what a dramatic ending. Mike Piazza with a chance to tie the game.
It has to come down to this. I mean, that's only right. It has to come down to this. The best relief pitcher probably in the history of baseball, and the best hitting catcher in the history of baseball. Why not? What a way to end a World Series or keep one going.
If Piazza hits one, the ball game is tied. Todd Zeile is the on-deck hitter, just in case the Yankees think about pitching around Piazza. Mike has singled and doubled tonight. He's 2 for 4. 2 outs, a runner at third. The pitch, strike, a stream of milk fastball on the inside part of the plate, 0-1. Now Rivera is set. And the 0-1 swung on, hit in the air to deep center. Bernie back, away back. He's there. He makes the catch. Ball game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win. The New York Yankees have once again reached the summit of the sports world. They've won their 3rd straight championship, 4th in the last 5 years, and 26th all-time, the most successful team in the history of professional sports. Starting the new millennium, the New York Yankees are once again world champions.
And they congregate between the pitcher's mound and second base. And how apropos that Bernie Williams caught the fly ball and the clock said 12 midnight. That's the type of season it's been. It has not been easy at all. It's been a struggle from the very beginning, and the Yankees only won 87 games in the regular season. They lost 15 of their last 18. They lost their last 7 in a row. They stumbled into the playoffs, and then somehow they switched it on again, and they made themselves champions. They made themselves three-peat. It is a team for the ages, ladies and gentlemen, and here are the totals as they celebrate between the pitcher's mound and second base. Yankees 4-7-1, leaving 6 runners on. The Mets 2-8-1, leaving 10 runners on. The winning pitcher is Stanton. The save goes to Rivera. The loser is Leiter. Home runs in the game, Bernie Williams and Derek Jeter. The attendance here at Shea, 55,292, and the time of the game an unmanageable, but for Yankee fans an enjoyable, 3 hours and 32 minutes. And that's brought to you by William Barthman Jewelers, located at 174 Broadway in downtown Manhattan. Call 212-732-0890 for details. When Bernie Williams caught the ball, he went down to one knee and dropped his head. And when he caught the ball, Mariano Rivera's 2 arms went straight up into the air. And he has become a fixture in every World Series celebration picture the Yankees have had. An incredible team, an incredible run. 4 championships in the last 5 years. They only missed in 1997, and they have now won 26 World Series since their first one in 1923. An amazing run by an amazing team. We're going to come back. We have a big postgame for you. Matt Devlin, John Sterling's downstairs, Roberto Clemente Jr. We will cover every single angle, so keep it right here. Thanks so much for listening to us during the season. We hope you enjoyed it, but stay for the postgame. This is New York Yankees baseball.